Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches, por la hora que sea. Bienvenidos otra vez a Spanish Nerd Livestream número 16. Wow, no puedo creer en verdad que ya habíamos llegado a un año. So I definitely want to celebrar un año con Spanish Blueprints. Es algo maravilloso en verdad. Y déjame saber, let me know in the comments section here, where are you from? ¿De dónde eres? ¿Y cuánto tiempo has estudiado español? How long have you been studying Spanish for? Para mí, yo soy de los Estados Unidos y yo he aprendido español por, en total, como 8 años, yo diría, 8 años. Y estoy súper agradecido por estar acá. I'm super thankful to have this channel. It's been an amazing journey este año, durante este año. This year has been really fun. It's really hard to believe it's been a year already. It's gone really fast. So definitely didn't think I was going to make it a full year. So I'm very excited. Estoy súper emocionado por lo que va a venir también en el próximo año. Very excited for what is going to happen in the next year as well. ¿Qué más? Déjame saber de dónde eres. Let me know where you are from. Where are you from in English or Spanish? It doesn't matter because this is going to be a little bilingual live stream. It won't be just in Spanish or just English, pero un poco de Spanglish because I like Spanglish. A little bit of Spanglish. Para que entiende cada persona en la audiencia. Express Dude, muchas gracias por venir. Eres de California, aprendí español por 1 año y 4 meses. Ah, qué excelente. Ya estás escribiendo muy bien. Qué excelente. Y dígame también, déjame saber cómo ha sido tu experiencia con español. How has your experience been with Spanish so far? How has your experience been? You're just getting started. Well, I'm just getting started too. I'm just getting started too. Solo tengo 3 años estudiando español por mi cuenta fuera de la universidad. So I just have 3 years of studying Spanish on my own after graduating college. So I don't have that many years studying that much either. And I still feel like a baby. I'm learning new things just about every single day, or I try to learn something new every single day. So the learning never stops. I'll say that. Como nunca para de aprender nuevas cositas. Nunca. Siempre estás aprendiendo algo. Sara, muy bien. Sí, súper excelente. Tenemos más personas interesadas en español. Me alegro muchísimo para ver eso. Y seguro que Express Dude, I'm sure that you have plenty of people to speak with, possibly, hopefully. A lot of Spanish speakers in California, I assume. I don't live there, so posiblemente hay un montón de hispanohablantes que viven ahí con quien eres capaz de hablar, charlar, practicar. Some of everything. Good to see you again. Te doy la bienvenida. Hola a todos, estoy en el trabajo, a little breaking, tuning in. Muchas gracias por, por tomar el tiempo de tu trabajo para estar con nosotros. Thanks for taking the time to join us here during your little lunch break or break. Muchas gracias. Lo aprendo en la escuela. Ok, Express Dude. Lo aprendo en la escuela. Express Dude learn Spanish in school. Ok, qué excelente. Así es como yo empecé ¿cómo diría? Mi camino aprendiendo español también en la escuela. No sé cómo decirlo, en la primaria, no sé cómo, pero más como que, no sé, like where I was from, we called it like middle school. So no sé cómo decirlo en español. I don't know if they had like middle school. So it's not just like elementary school and then high school, pero bueno. Medio escuela. En la escuela. En la escuela, chicos, lo ven en la escuela. Sí, entiendo. Entiendo lo que quieres decir. Lo aprendo en la preparatoria. Ah, ok, qué excelente. Lo aprendo en la preparatoria. Y ojalá que aprendiste mucho en la escuela, ojalá. Because I learned a decent amount. I've been thinking about it a lot, but I did learn a decent amount in like high school. I learned a decent amount in high school because I was able to make like at least write, I think, some simple sentences from what I can remember. So I remembered some things. I only had one class in high school and that was it. Okay, qué excelente. Sí, así es como la experiencia de un montón de estudiantes de español, ¿verdad? Como, like, sometimes people just take, like, one class or a few classes in high school, and that's it. It was so quick, I didn't remember that. Yeah, I know, right? Like, the only thing I remember from, like, high school Spanish really is, songs. That's the only thing I remember is, like, Disney songs Disney songs that we had in class. Ah, okay. Miss Mendez, hola, soy de California, cerca de Disneyland. Okay, excelente. I have never been to Disneyland before. No tengo recursos. Disneyland, sí, nunca he ido ahí aún. Quizás un día, yo estaré ahí para experimentar todo lo que se puede dar. Disneyland. Sara, estoy en la costa este. I've been studying for a month now. Ah, qué excelente. Solamente por un mes. Ok, me alegro mucho. Y Sara, this time seems like the right timing because I'm actually enjoying the process. Ah, está bien. Y Sara, what made you want to learn Spanish? This is a question for everybody too. What made you want to learn Spanish? ¿Qué es lo que te motiva para aprender español? What motivated you to learn Spanish? Why did you want to learn Spanish? Was it obligatorio o por diversión? Por, no sé, por la escuela, por un trabajo, o dígame. Para mí fue por el puro interés. For me, it was just all about interest after I graduated from college. That's why I continued to learn because I was like, well, I'd rather not all this money go to waste. And I've studied a lot and I had a lot of late nights. So I should probably continue studying Spanish and continue to learn so I don't lose it all. So that was kind of my motivator. And because I thought Spanish was really a beautiful language. And that's really all I needed for me. Even though I procrastinated for like a year after I made the decision, it took a while, but then I got a little bit more serious. But that was kind of the original reason for me. I really liked the language, sounded really pretty and beautiful, and I just got kind of interested in learning more about Latin culture, Spanish culture, Hispanic culture, and that's kind of how I got into it a little bit. Or come out my initial motivator for it, and not wanting to lose it, but actually wanted to become fluent in Spanish. Julian Monaco, hola, buenas. Thanks for coming. Te doy la bienvenida. Good to see you again. Un gusto verte otra vez. Ahora mismo estamos hablando de nuestros motivos para empezar a aprender español. Eso es la pregunta ahora mismo. I almost said like right now in Spanish. I mean in French. Maintenant. Because I hear that word so many times now. That's the fun part of learning multiple languages. Like sometimes I'm thinking in Spanish, like right there, I was thinking in Spanish, speaking in Spanish, but then sometimes I have like a French word that pops into my head. Like that was just maintenant. I don't know pronounce that correctly. Maintenant. Miss Méndez siempre ha querido saber español. Ok. Muchas personas en California hablan español. Ok. Muy popular idioma aquí. Me imagino que sí. Me imagino que sí. Qué excelente. Julia Monaco, eso es un directo en inglés o español, lo que quiera. Bueno, ahora mismo como estoy hablando español y inglés, entonces no importa muchísimo. Se puede hablar en inglés o español, lo que quiera. I mean, for me, I do a little bit of both, a little Spanish, and also a little English, Spanish and English. Because it's hard for me just to to speak like English like the whole time and not like say at least like a few words in Spanish. Oh, I think I missed a comment, didn't I? Déjame ver. I'm only with a native speaker. Oh, ahí está. So this time it seems everything, some of everything at this time it seems like the right timing because I'm actually enjoying the process. And then to express meet with a native speaker. Meet with a native speaker twice a week. Excelente. I also found other ways to help me learn, such as podcasts, movies, grammar books, etc., etc. Que maravilloso. I'll type only in English so I can practice my writing. Sí, por favor. Julia Monacos, se puede presentarle a la audiencia, porque obviamente, claramente, no eres hablante de inglés, entonces, ¿de qué país es usted? ¿De qué país es usted? Miss Vinay or language exchange with Julian. I love to help with English and I get help with Spanish. Sí, eso es lo bueno. Eso es la parte bueno, la parte buena de este live stream. Like during some of these live streams, I've had Spanish speakers on here. To my surprise, por sorpresa, una buena sorpresa. So that's been really exciting too, to be able to have this kind of exchange because it helps me out too. I've been learning a lot about sobre Argentina, por ejemplo, porque Julia Monaco es de Argentina. I don't know. I know their accent is fairly different there. I don't know many Argentinians though. But I know the accent is it's not like it's slightly different, more closer to España, ¿verdad? This is a great to learn from. Absolutamente. Absolutamente. Una de mis palabras favoritas. Absolutamente. Absolutamente. Really, any word that ends in mente, it's like my favorite word in Spanish. Claramente, absolutamente, rápidamente, frecuentemente. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Cada vez sí, hay otros, pero se me olvidaron. Argentina. Can you pronounce the word Argentina in English? Because I'm always confused on how it's pronounced. Oh, it's super plano. Es super plano. No es algo con sabor, nada de eso. Es solamente Argentina. Entonces, como la G es muy dura. La G es muy dura. Argentina, así. Entonces, sí. Así es como se pronuncia Argentina en inglés. Así. Porque yo sé que, bueno, igual con los estudiantes de inglés se complican estas pronunciaciones. Con la H, con la J y la G. Some of everything. I want to learn Spanish because it opens up to meeting more people and it helps with traveling. Absolutamente. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I couldn't imagine I couldn't imagine living in a Spanish speaking country without knowing Spanish at all. I think that would be like terrible. Because when I went to Mexico, I didn't know that much Spanish when I went there, and it was quite nerve-wracking with the Spanish that I did know. I feel like you just can't really do anything if you don't know the language. Actualmente. Así es otro más. Actualmente. Recientemente. Esto también. Recientemente. Damn. Estoy cubriendo comento. Some everything. Plus, I recently found out a cousin of mine speaks Spanish. I never knew. How did you not know that your cousin spoke Spanish? Sara, I am from New York, and there are lots of people who can't speak English. Ah, okay. It is nice to see the joy cross native Spanish speakers' faces when I relate to in their language. It's also a beautiful language. Así es. Eso es la verdad. Eso siempre me pasa también cuando mientras hablo con los hispanohablantes, siempre se pone muy feliz y se pone una sonrisa brillante, y eso me da mucha felicidad para ver la alegría que alguien está disfrutando de una conversación en su idioma nativo. Es algo muy beneficial y, no sé, me llena mi corazón con felicidad. Felicidad. Y no, con felicidad. It's really learned actualmente does not mean actually. Ajá. Actualmente. Sí, actualmente es como ahora mismo, de una vez. Yeah, that's one of those tricky ones. There's a lot of tricky words like that. Actualmente. Actualmente estoy hablando con ustedes a través de mi live stream en mi canal de YouTube. Oh, I forgot. I'm also streaming on Twitter too. I'm also streaming on Twitter. If you didn't know that existed, I sure did not know that existed until like a few weeks ago. No. Probably like a few months ago. I never knew that you could stream. Never knew that you could live stream on Twitter until a few months ago. So I'm streaming on Twitter and also on YouTube. Entonces, ojalá que más personas vengan para participar en esta live stream. Porque me encanta hablar con más personas. Hablar con más personas. Indeed. ¿Cuál ciudad fue usted, Spanish Bloopers? Yo soy de... ¿Cuál ciudad fue usted? Yo nací en Minneapolis y yo crecí en Minneapolis, en el norte en mi país, en los Estados Unidos. Ahora yo vivo en Texas. Now I'm in Texas. Perfect place. Kind of like Miss Minute was saying, kind of like in New York, in Texas también. Sí, hay un montón de hispanohablantes acá. There's a lot of Spanish speakers in Texas from a whole bunch of different Spanish speaking countries. So it's an amazing opportunity. If you live in a city where there's a Spanish speaking community, then yeah, you're kind of set as far as like practice and things like that. Practicing and having conversations with Spanish speakers in person is very helpful. So everything, when I posted a practice video, she was like, "Cousin, you can always practice with me." And I was like, "Wow!" I totally forgot. That's funny. Bueno, está bien. Está perfecto. Es perfecto que tienes alguien con quien podrías practicar. No, that's perfect. Some of everything I recently heard about Twitter Live. Yeah, it's super strange. I don't know who exactly streams on Twitter. I have no idea who does that. No idea. Julia Monaco. Are you learning other languages? Yes, I'm also learning French right now. So I started learning French January this year. Well, actually, originally I started learning French last year, the beginning of last year, probably around January, February. But then I quit right away because I thought it was too hard. So now I'm giving it another shot. So yeah, learning French right now, and then after French, I hope that I can learn German. So because I like German, I like the way it sounds, and that's the only reason why I want to learn German. And with French, it's about the same thing. I want to learn French because I don't know. It's just like a random thought that popped in my head. I'm like, oh, I should learn French. It sounds kind of interesting. I don't know anything about France or French-speaking countries, which there are a lot of. There's a ton of French-speaking countries that I never knew were French-speaking countries. So yeah, I love to learn. But see, right now French, and then later Alemán. Daniel Scott, I'm still watching shows with English subtitles. Is that bad? No hay nada malo con eso. I wouldn't say like really. I mean, there are some like bad ways of studying Spanish or learning Spanish, but that's not really like necessarily like a bad way. I would say eventually you should get to the point where you should start using more, where you should use more like Spanish subtitles in the future. But it really all depends. It all depends on what your learning style is and how you're learning. Like if that really helps you, then then do that. That's what I say. But it also depends on what your goal is, Daniel, as well. What your goals are. I'll say they're helpful up to a point. But eventually you'll have to get to the Spanish subtitles, and then later, no subtitles and only Spanish. I mean, you can do that right now, but like more than likely, if you're using subtitles, that means you're trying to understand, like everything. Well, not understand everything, but you're really trying to understand, what's going on, within that show or whatnot. But like other times, you don't have to even focus on that. You can just put, a fully native content on, and then just listen and not try to like actually understand it. That's also another good way. Another way of learning that you can do too. So you don't always have to have the subtitles on. You don't always have to have them off. It all depends on what you're focusing on at that time. En aquel momento. Miss Mendez. Oh, espérame. Some everything. Yeah, that's how it is in Florida. Uh-huh. Okay, so yeah, we got like the kind of like I guess like the largest Spanish speaking states here. we got Nueva York, we got Florida, we got Texas, and we got California. California. The Spanish I carefully understand shows in Spanish. There's too much slang and colloquialisms for me to able to grasp it all, and that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I can't either. I don't know who can, honestly. There's a lot, and really, that's all about. That's all. That's really like a time thing. Like you're not gonna know for like there's you're not gonna know every single slang word and colloquialism. Really, depending on even who you're speaking with, right? If you're having a conversation with a Spanish speaker, like there's so much to learn. It's not like one day you're just gonna know everything. That's something that I've learned over the past. Something very hard I had to learn over the past few years. Like when I thought I was gonna become fluent, I thought it was gonna be one day where I just woke up speaking just like perfect Spanish, no pauses, like everything was perfect, and I still haven't got there yet. Even though I como yo podría, bueno, yo soy capaz de hablar fluidamente, pero no, eso no importa. Como con respecto a la perfección, porque like perfection doesn't exist. And the same thing with listening comprehension. For me, there was never a day where I just woke up and I understood everything. Like it takes time. It depends on who you're talking to. Like in this case, what you're watching as well. Like if let's say if you're watching a lot of TV shows and movies from Colombia, right? You get accustomed to Colombia, but that doesn't mean you're gonna know everything about Colombia. And then si cambia ese el país, por ejemplo, if you change countries, let's say you go from Colombia to Mexico or to Cuba, then there's like a whole bunch more that you have to learn. So that's what I mean like listening comprehension. It's not like, yeah, like you're always learning new things. So it's not like you wouldn't like pressure yourself just to that I should like know everything. You don't have to know everything. Or understand every single thing, especially not to enjoy it either. You can always enjoy things if you don't understand them. Like music. Music is a really good example of that. You can definitely enjoy music. You can enjoy movies without understanding everything. And even like within movies, like think about I don't know what your native language is, but like for me with English, I don't understand everything that I watch in a movie or a TV show, even in my native language. So it's kind of just like that. So don't like stress yourself out. Some of everything. Can't wait to hear your French process. My French process, yeah, it's very slow because I'm lazy. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Some of everything that'll be my next language, French. I understand a little Creole. Oh, okay, cool. A little Creole because of my Haitian friends. That's cool. Yeah, I have some Haitian friends too, and yeah, I've seen the way that they text and they speak French Creole. I'm just like, wow, it's really interesting. It seems so different than French. Julian Monaco is still struggling understanding British accent. Should listen to it more this next year. Okay, Julian, what content do you listen to more of? Do you listen to more of content when you're learning English content from the United States or from other English speaking countries? Déjame saber. Hola, hola, David. Hola. Muchas gracias por venir acá, por estar con nosotros. Thanks for coming. Sara, where were you initially scared to speak Spanish in public? If so, how did you overcome your fear? Oh, this is a great question. The answer is absolutely, absolutamente. Very, because for me, I would say I am an introvert, so I actually don't like talking, even though I'm talking a lot right now. Um, so I'm more of like I'm more naturally quiet in general. So speaking Spanish was very difficult at the beginning, even right now. Like even right now when I'm speaking Spanish, como así, como un poquito, como un poco de inglés y español todavía, me da mucho miedo para hacerlo, porque yo no quiero, yo no tengo deseo para cometer errores, ¿me entiendes? Yeah, so for me, it's always been difficult to speak Spanish in public, but I would say I haven't overcome it I haven't overcome it fully. What I have done though is still speak in public, even though I have fear. So this is something that actually one of my friends from Guatemala has told me. He's like, you don't really overcome fear, but it's more of like you face it. So like, you can still have a lot of fear, right, of speaking Spanish, but you can still do it. So like that's me right now, even in English when I'm speaking, or in my videos, or in Spanish when I'm speaking in my videos, I still have a lot of fear, but I'm still doing it. So that was like the biggest thing for me to realize is that I can still be nervous. I can have a lot of fear, when I'm speaking Spanish with, Spanish speakers or with my friends or whoever out in public, but that doesn't mean that it can actually prevent me from speaking Spanish, if that makes sense. So como ahora mismo, como estoy muy nervioso, like right now I'm pretty nervous, but I can still speak. So for me, that's really how I initially started to really overcome or face my fear of speaking in public, is just doing it anyway, doing it no matter how I felt. And then also I would say la constancia, so consistency as well. So just doing it over and over again. And now because of really facing this fear, and I've had so many conversations in Spanish, but that's because I had to force myself to do it. It wasn't like it has not been easy whatsoever. It has not been easy. But that's like me. That's just like me and my insecurities, right? Mostly like over the past few years. Like before, let's say like 2 years ago, I wasn't talking to Spanish speakers in person at all. I was mostly talking with Spanish speakers through text messages and language exchange applications. Oh, un minuto. Ok, ok, aquí estoy. Se apagó mi cámara, lo siento. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so yeah, 2 years ago, I wasn't even having conversations with Spanish speakers in person a lot. Like really, like never. Only with some of my friends, but it wasn't like with new people whatsoever. But after that, like 2021, I just started to talk to more people in Spanish in person. Then I just started to do it over and over and over again, forcing myself to have conversations, and that's how I started to get a little bit more comfortable. I mean, I still had, I was still very nervous and still had a lot of fear, but just me doing that a lot really helped me to overcome that fear of speaking Spanish. And now I'm always speaking Spanish with my friends. I speak Spanish with coworkers, with my boss, or my old boss. I speak Spanish basically like wherever I go. Every time I go to like a store or something like that, I make sure that I speak Spanish. For me, it's getting a lot. It's getting a little bit easier to do that, because like before it was like sometimes I would do it, or sometimes I would only speak Spanish if I studied. So I would study a lot before I would leave my home, right? I would like look up a whole bunch of phrases and stuff like that, and that's the only time that I would really kind of get out there and speak Spanish with a Spanish speaker, if I saw them or something like that. But now it's like I don't even do that. I just try to speak as much as possible if I'm at a store, no matter how uncomfortable I am. Like for the first time, I bought perfume. I bought some cologne in Spanish for the first time ever in my life. Now it was like a month ago. But I never did that before. I was really nervous to do it, but I did it anyway because that was like a goal of mine. So that's kind of, in short, kind of how I've been able to kind of overcome that fear. Just doing it over and over again, and yeah. just a lot of consistency and being uncomfortable, because for me it's not comfortable whatsoever. It's not comfortable. So it's not like I'm always comfortable when I speak Spanish. Like it takes like some time, like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, like within a conversation, like, okay, I feel a lot better. I feel a little bit more comfortable, but I still feel nervous to make, mistakes and make myself look like a fool and things like that. But kind of in short, it's a longer discussion about that, but yeah, that's what I say about that. Okay, Miss Mendez, OMG, Julian or Julian. There are English accents from the UK that I can't understand. They're flipping tough. Yeah. Mendez, oh, ha, ha, ha. Julian, I was pretty much famous. Pretty much famous streamers from Twitch. Oh, and I think they're all from America. Okay, cool. The British accent is a different accent. Oh, yes, it is. I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know how to do that at all. A British accent, I can't do it. Julian, do you want to get your French level as your Spanish or not that advanced? I would say yes. And the reason why I would say that is because since I've had this experience, getting to this level in Spanish, I know that I can get to this level in French way faster, a lot faster, and a lot easier, just because I have the knowledge now. Like with the videos on my YouTube channel, that's all been about like my experiences, about my failures for the most part, and like what I've learned through my experience learning Spanish. So I can know for sure like I get my French level to that, but it just the time and putting in that dedication to get to that level. So I would say yes to that question. I definitely want to get my French level to my current Spanish level. Sada, thank you for answering my question. I feel you. I'm so nervous to actually speak. You're very inspiring. Thank you very much. It's good to know. And sí, así es la vida. Así es la vida de un estudiante de idiomas. Así es la vida. I said you can have some fear, you can be nervous, but don't let it overtake you and don't let it stop you from doing what you want. That's what I would say. So everything, yes, the first time I heard it, I thought it was another language. I get used to a little bit more. Yes, it's super different. I should practice my English here, but there's no English people where I live. Okay. Francis Hall, hola, hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Estoy excelente. Yo no puedo decir para todo el mundo, pero estoy excelente. Gracias. Ms. Minnesota, definitely recommend meeting with a tutor from a native Spanish speaker or doing a language exchange for the first time. I just speak Spanish with someone, OMG total failure, but then I did some ITALKI lessons. Sí. Pero mira, la cosa es, la cosa es que si quiera con mi, o incluso, no, bueno, yo voy a decir también. No, ¿qué quiero decir? I forgot what I wanted to say. Something about ITALKI tutor. Oh yeah, even my ITALKI tutor this year, I have been really nervous, which is really strange because again, I can speak fluently, but I still speak with a lot of mistakes and stuff like that. But even with my ITALKI tutor this year, I've had so many moments where I've been like nervous and like scared to talk with her just because I don't know, like out of fear of like messing up and things like that. So even like in a very controlled environment like that, I've been very, very nervous. So it's really just a mentality thing. La mentalidad, todo empieza acá. Todo empieza acá. Everything starts in the mind. Some of everything. That's great to know how you open up about speaking Spanish despite being nervous. Yeah, I mean that's like being nervous, and having a lot of fear has been like it should be like the theme song. It should be a theme song about my language learning journey, and it's all about fear and being an introvert and being uncomfortable. That's really how it's been like this whole time, being very uncomfortable. Congratulaciones. Muchas gracias, Francis. Muchas gracias. Oh yeah, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that as well. And follow me on Twitter. Sometimes I'm usually on there. I try to tweet a few times a week. Try to be on there. connect with people on there. Twitter's pretty fun. Twitter's pretty fun. A decent amount of language learners on there. I think it's a pretty good community. Everybody seems to be fairly helpful as well on Twitter. Daniel Scott, mucha gente piensa que yo soy dominicano porque no uso la C. Así es. Así es como se abre ahí en la República Dominicana. Se corta la S. Se corta la S. Se corta mucho, en verdad. Se corta la S. Se corta la D. Se corta la D y además. So everything I have to keep in mind just to talk aloud no matter what, even if I may sound crazy with the pronunciation. See, yeah, that's come on. Yo soy igual. I'm exactly the same way. Especially with my neutral accent, I don't really care that much because like with my neutral, am I saying that correctly? Neutral, yeah, English. Con mi acento natural, con mi acento natural, me siento muy cómodo hablando con ellos. Porque casi yo he dominado ese acento y no me cuesta tanto, tanta energía, no me complica tanto, pero con mi acento dominicano o con mi acento castellano, eso es un poco más difícil para reproducir y para mantener y también para utilizar por tanto tiempo, mucho tiempo. So I always feel really strange when I use different accents all the time. It's really weird. So I know I sound crazy. I know I sound crazy, but it's just something I gotta deal with that we all have to deal with. Because learning new languages is just strange. It's just strange in general. So like it always just feels kind of weird. Like if you're hearing yourself and things like that, that's super normal. Especially because you're so focused on the way that you sound, but like maybe in your native language, you never really focus on the way that you speak like that. You know what I mean? Except for maybe in a presentation or something like that, but you never really, focus so much on the way that you speak and trying to improve the way that you speak and make sure that you have good pronunciation and like, oh, does my accent sound good? I've never focused so much on my life, I never focused so much in my life on my speaking abilities. In English and then also in Spanish. And then now in French. It sounds funny, especially because like for me, right? For me con acento dominicano, como todavía soy un bebé, porque solamente yo empecé a utilizar este acento hace un año. El junio pasado yo fui a la República Dominicana por la primera vez sin tener un acento, pero con tiempo, como un mes después de mi vacación, yo empecé a desarrollar mi acento un poquito más, pero todavía, como hasta ahora, me siento muy incómodo mientras utilizándolo, porque suena muy raro, So like for me, like with the Dominican accent, I just started to use it or like kind of really develop it only for like a year and like 4 months really. So for me, I'm just like a baby when it comes to like using this accent. So it's not like I've been using it for that long. So that's why I still feel like really weird when I use it. I don't feel like I sound Dominican. Like I don't know what I sound like when I speak with my Dominican accent. I really don't know. Like I don't know if I sound like because it's not strong either. That's the other part. It's like I can use it, but it's not that strong. And it's hard for me to use it like all day long. If I had to use my Dominican accent all day long, it would be very difficult for me to maintain it and make it sound strong and things like that. But it's super hard. Sara, muchísimas gracias. I'll give it a try. Well, I can relate. You are still going strong. Francis, would you ever teach on ITALKI? That's a good question. I would say no. Like I'm not super passionate about teaching like that. Like for me, I would say that when it comes to teaching, for me, I would want to dedicate my life to that because I know that it's not like for me. I'm not trying to just like fake trying to be a teacher or anything like that, but I would actually want to be certified. I would want to have a lot of knowledge about language learning and then also how to teach, which I'm not there whatsoever. So like in that, In that sense, I wouldn't want to be an iTalki tutor or teacher or anything like that because like I would still need a lot of certification, and then as well, like I don't know how I for me with teaching, it's not something that's ever really been on my mind like that. Like I know some people have said like, oh, you kind of teach on like with your YouTube channel, but that's kind of like very informal. It's not a classroom setting. It's not that kind of teaching. It's just me kind of just talking about my experience. But yeah, that's what I was saying. It's not something that's on my list. It's not really a goal of mine. It's not really a goal of mine. I think it would be interesting, but yeah, at the moment, no. At the moment, no. This guy, have you noticed Afro Latinos are largely represented on TV, movies, news? I'm trying to find shows which representation, but it's tough. No, not really. I mean, I guess it's not something I really focused on before. So, I mean, I wouldn't know. Y también es bien difícil para saber quién exactamente es un afrolatino. Afrolatino se puede parecer a mí. So like, I think the other difficult thing is you really don't know who's Afro Latino. Like sometimes you do know, and sometimes it's like you can't really tell because like we're all just like mixed looking people. Well, I'm not saying like me, not me, but like Afro Latinos. So they could be just like you think maybe like they're just African American or whatever. Like como y sin el sangre latino o sin la sangre latina de verdad son latinos, ¿me entiendes? Entonces, ¿cómo así? But yeah, I don't even know. I haven't really focused on anything like that before. Maybe you do language exchanges online with all of us via Zoom. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Yeah, definitely been thinking about doing some type of language exchange. I know. I think that would be very fun too. I just have to think about how I would organize something like that, and then time and things like that. So it's definitely something that's on my mind. So, but thank you for the reminder because I haven't been thinking about it recently. But yeah, that's definitely something that I would like to do in the future. I just have to think about how exactly I would go about that and things like that. So, but yeah, that'll be something really fun. Language exchanges are fun. I've never done it a language exchange online before. But if you have, let me know. Let me know in the comments here if you've done a language exchange before. Some of everything. Buenas noches a todos. Going back to work. I will catch up the replay, and thanks again for these lives. It is very helpful. Thank you again for coming. Disfrútate. Que disfrutes en tu trabajo. And sí, nos vemos muy pronto. Yeah, thanks for coming again. Adiós. Que se vaya bien. Okay, Ms. Mendez. I tried looking up a language exchange on Meetup, and there were none. Not like I live in a small area though. Yeah, I've done one meetup before, um, in Minnesota. Surprisingly, there was one. It was a fairly big one too. There's at least like 15 people who came. So that was pretty fun. It was pretty helpful too. Also, déjame saber, ¿cuál es tu video mío? Bueno, ¿cuál es tu video favorito de mi canal? Let me know what is your favorite video of my channel so far. I would love to know. What is your favorite video? And what other videos would you like to see in the future? Like what kind of topics would you want to would interest you in actually watching? Déjame saber esto. Y bueno, ¿qué puedo decir? Sobre el enlace. And if you know anybody who'll be interested in this live stream, make sure that you share that with them as well. Ms. Mendez, I definitely need help with slang and colloquialismo. Sí. Como a todos necesitamos este tipo de vocabulario, en verdad. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of slang in Spanish. A lot of slang. Like when I went to the DR, RD, when I went to RD, it definitely blew my mind like how many new words that like different words that they use there. It was absolutely insane. They have so many slang words there. And I thought I had a good grasp on vocabulary until I went there and I was like, okay, I don't know anything at all. I thought I knew a lot until I went to the Dominican Republic. I thought I knew a lot. And then that definitely changed my mind on my knowledge of the Spanish language. Not as vocabulary, but then also like sentence structure and just like saying things in general because they say things so differently than what I was used to in comparison to what I was studying before I went there. It was very different. Y sí, déjame saber en los comentarios. Let me know in the comments here. What is your favorite video of mine? ¿Y cuánto tiempo has visto mi canal también? ¿Por cuánto tiempo has visto mis videos de mi canal? How long have you been watching my videos as well? I want to know who has been here the longest. Well, I mean, the longest. It's only been a year and a few days. But yeah, let me know how long you have been watching videos on my channel as well. The first videos of mine, oh, they embarrassed me so much. They embarrass me so much. Even though like they're like they're I guess inspirational because I'm a lot better now. They still embarrass me so much because I had no idea what I was doing. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but at least now I have like a little bit better idea. I'm speaking better than I was beforehand. Yeah, I'm speaking better than I was before, and I feel like my videos are a little bit better than what they were a year ago, which is a good thing. So como que estoy mejorando un poquito, estoy mejorando un poquito como mi forma de hablar en inglés. Entonces, como siempre estoy mejorando mis habilidades de hablar. Siempre. Sara, no language exchanges yet. Just increasing vocabulary with Pimsleur. Oh, okay. This is my first time watching your channel. Oh, okay, qué excelente. Tu primera vez y ya estás mirando un live stream. Qué buena presentación. This is my first time watch your channel, so I would say this one. Okay. Qué duro, qué duro. Qué chévere. Just started watching your videos maybe a few weeks ago. Just subscribed today, though. Oh, qué excelente. Muchas gracias por suscribiendo a mi canal. Eso fue una palabra que yo tenía que aprender este año a través de YouTube. I learned the word to subscribe in Spanish, which is still very, very difficult for me to say. Suscribir. So for me, like the first time I almost quit trying to pronounce that word correctly because it's really difficult. And then like to like the command form of like telling you to subscribe would be suscríbete. But then yeah, como tú eres un suscriptor porque tú suscribirse, ay Dios, suscribiste, ay Dios, yo tengo que buscar esta palabra porque me complica demasiado. Tú eres un suscriptor porque tú suscribiste, así, suscribiste. So that word is really hard for me to say. Language learning lover. Good to see you. What are some things that have worked really well for you in making progress with Spanish? Well, one of them has been this year I've been using a lot of Instagram. Wasn't using Instagram before like that before. Before this year really, before using my YouTube. But just making videos and putting them on my Instagram has worked a lot, I would say, for speaking and then also learning for like new vocabulary. Because I usually before I make videos on my stories, like these like really goofy. I'm just like talking about like the food that I'm eating or what I'm doing. Like, oh, estoy leyendo un libro or something like that. Like, oh, I'm reading a book. But that helps me a lot because I have to think about what I want to say. before I say it on my story, and most of the time I'm looking up words on Spanish Dict or in my dictionary or something like that before I actually make the story. So I'm like learning new vocabulary, or I forget vocabulary, so I have to look it up anyway. That's helped me a lot, and just like practicing speaking like that. So practice speaking. Practice speaking a lot, and then also just kind of putting out in public. So that kind of helps with kind of getting over my fear, and then just having that constant just making a lot of videos on Instagram has helped me out a lot this year. That has been one. And then let's see what else you said. So something that worked really well for you, making progress with Spanish. So yeah, so that has to do with speaking Spanish. So always speaking Spanish as much as possible, and also being as descriptive as possible. So como ahora mismo, so like right now, then I would just describe. I'll try to describe as much as possible that I'm doing and what I'm seeing right now. Como ahora mismo estoy no estoy grabando un video, pero es un video en vivo en que estoy transmitiendo un video a través de YouTube con mi audiencia, porque yo tengo un canal de YouTube, porque yo soy YouTuber. Bueno, ahora mismo no soy exactamente si soy un YouTuber, pero así es a lo que me indicó. Bueno, yo soy YouTuber, entonces ahora mismo estoy mirando a mi cámara. Yo tengo dos luces frente de mí que me pone muy brillante para mi audiencia. Y también yo estoy presentando a dos plataformas, dos dispositivos. Estoy transmitiendo a mi canal de YouTube y también a mi cuenta de Twitter, porque yo tengo esta plataforma que me permite hacerlo. Y bueno, no es gratis bueno, sí, no está gratis, no está gratis. No es gratis para transmitir a dos plataformas porque está pagado. And just like that. I was just talking about like what I'm doing right now in Spanish. So that has helped me a lot, because when I would say like 2 years ago, I really wasn't speaking Spanish a lot. I was mostly reading a lot and watching a lot of movies and TV shows, and reading as well. But like the only really practice I got with speaking was like through a language exchange application, and sometimes with my friend. But that it wasn't really helpful, because it was helpful up to a point. I had a lot of vocabulary in my head and things like that, but I wasn't speaking. I wasn't practicing a lot. I would send some audio, some audio files, not audio file. I keep saying that for some reason, like some audio recordings to my language partners on Hello Talk, but that was it. So what really helped me to advance my Spanish speaking skills was just practicing. I had to, which is what I hated, because again, I'm an introvert. I don't really like speaking like that. I had to practice speaking, which is what I hated. And I also used to hate speaking in the past, because I was not good at it. I didn't have any practice, and I was never doing it. So then, for example, to get a lot of practice with speaking in the past, I had to practice it a lot. And it was very difficult to do, very challenging, because I wasn't used to it. When you're not used to speaking, it is very difficult to do. But once you start to do it, little by little, you don't have to just, be speaking for, 50 minutes out of the day. It's kind of, little by little. I didn't start speaking, all day right away. I didn't start speaking for an hour right away. It literally started with, a few audio recordings, like 1 minute audio recordings, and then me speaking, alone for, like a few minutes, and then practicing consistently when I was alone, just talking to myself, thinking in Spanish a lot. That's helped me to a lot when it comes to speaking. And also increasing my vocabulary, speaking a lot, by myself, describing as much as possible around me. And yeah, so I would say that has helped me a lot when it comes to speaking, and then also increasing my vocabulary, because you can have a lot of vocabulary in your head, right? You can read and write. That was me in college. Right after college, I knew how to write. I knew how to read. Well, I knew how to write, kind of. I had a lot of grammar mistakes, but I knew like the basics of writing. I knew how to read, but I had no idea how to speak. And communication, when you're speaking, that's like, I would say like one of the biggest aspects of learning a language, like learning how to speak. So it has been a lot of practice, a lot of practice, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, as well, facing my fears, doing things even though that I'm insecure about it. It's like right now, I have like a lot of insecurities right now. You probably can't tell, but I'm like nervous even right now, speaking English, speaking Spanish for many different reasons. And then really just trying to break out of my shell, practice. That's like more like on the speaking part of it, but it's still related to vocabulary and things like that. Like I was saying beforehand, because when you're communicating, when you use it, when you're speaking, it's different than the way that you're writing. When you're speaking, a lot of different writing sentences and sentence structures still translate to the way that you're speaking, but speaking is still fairly different from writing. So that's why you have to learn how to communicate. You have to learn how to speak, literally like being a baby all over again. And then having a lot of conversations with Spanish speakers, that has helped me out like the most. Fixing my mistakes, fixing my pronunciation mistakes, my grammar mistakes, learning how to speak more like a native. So speaking with, having conversations with Spanish speakers, native Spanish speakers, has helped me out a lot when it comes to that, and having more knowledge about the language. And then I have a lot of other videos too that explain some other ways of learning Spanish. Like there's so many ways. Like I can talk all day about how many different ways that there are to learn a language and to learn Spanish. Reading has helped me has helped me a lot as well with with sentence structure. Just consuming a lot of content in Spanish really has helped me out a lot. Because you don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot to language. Let's say like for me, I started in, school and things like that. Well, guess what? Outside of school, outside of textbooks in school, there's a lot more to the language, to the Spanish language. So there's just been, a lot of learning for me. And for me, I would say, to answer your question again, or, more in depth, is just, has made me progress a lot with Spanish, is, learning, never stopping to learn, because it's, like you'll never stop learning Spanish, and that's something that I had to realize too. I thought it was going to be one day. I said it beforehand. I thought it was going to be one day that I was going to understand 100% of everything that a Spanish speaker was saying. I thought I was going to be speaking perfect Spanish one day, and that day has never arrived. I'm always increasing my knowledge of Spanish language. That's like right now, I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to learn more about the Dominican accent. I'm learning more about the Cuban accent and the Spanish accent about these countries, because I've been starting to meet more Spanish speakers from these countries. So now I'm like learning more about the language that way. So it's just really just having this hunger to learn about the language. And just I've had like a lot of passion to learn about different cultures as well. So culture is a huge part of language learning, I would say. They're fairly inseparable, so that's helped me a lot as well to understand more about Spanish, is learning about the culture behind the language. So there's a lot more, but that's just like a little bit. Francis Hall, todos el videos, pero tú bailas con su amiga. Ok, mi problema ahora. ¿Qué es su problema exactamente? Dígame un poco más. Explíqueme un poco más de tu problema. ¿Cuál es tu problema? Francis, what is your problem? Y discúlpame porque yo tengo que conectar mi batería. Tengo que cargar mi batería de mi computadora. I have to charge my computer here, my laptop. Mi ordinador, I think they say that in Spain. Ordinador. They don't say like computadora, but they say ordinador. Algo así. Déjame buscarlo. It's like ordenador. That's what they say in Spain, or I think some parts of Spain. I'll say technology too. Let's see. So in Spain they say like ordenador for computadora. I don't know why, but it's a little bit different. Language learning lover. Wow, you did make it accent sounds really good, because you sound just like my language partner. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias. Yeah, I still have a lot of doubts about my accent. Oh, speaking Spanish, Francis. Okay. Okay, yo entiendo. Yeah, no, it's definitely it's difficult, but you can do it. You just gotta practice. And Francis, like, come on, explíqueme un poco más. Explíqueme un poco más. ¿Qué exactamente es lo que te complica sobre hablar en español? Dígame un poco más, con más detalles. Explícame, ¿qué es lo que te complica sobre hablar en español? ¿Es la pronunciación? ¿Es el ritmo? Ok, el vocabulario, conectarlo a la frase. Explícame. So tell me more about what about speaking Spanish is difficult for you. But, you know, like my Dominican accent, my Dominican accent is not really strong, but it's also because I didn't really I it's like for me the Dominican accent. I haven't worked on it like really hard, if that makes sense. Like I don't focus really on just like one accent and that's it. I'm all over the place when it comes to like me learning Spanish. So like it's not like I'm sitting every single day. It's not like I'm watching Dominican movies and TV shows and that's it. Or always speak with Dominicans. That is not that is not what my like my day to day looks like. I wish it kind of was like that, but it's not like that at all. It's more of like I use my Dominican accent like right now, just kind of like for fun. And sometimes I watch Dominican movies and TV shows. I have a Dominican friend I talk to with sometimes, but like other than that, it's not like Dominican Republic is like the only thing that I'm focused on. I'm like, for me, I'm all over the place. I'm always trying to learn a little bit of everything, which is really hard to like not really hard to develop an accent kind of like that. You need like a little bit more focus. But yeah, hopefully I'll get there. That's a good question. Language learning lover says or asks, "What has been the highlights of your Spanish learning journey?" One of mine was when I finally started to understand memes. For me, I guess like one of the highlights for me really has been just having conversations with Spanish speakers. That there's like really nothing como no hay otra cosa más más que me levanta más que me levanta que me salta de mi cama de eso. Like I love being able to have conversations with Spanish speakers and you know share things about our culture, share things about our background, share things about our share things about our countries and things like that. It's just like the conversations I've had in Spanish, like they're I don't even know how to describe them. Like there's just like so much happiness in our conversations when I'm speaking with people, like a lot of smiles and like the conversations last a long time. It's I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a different experience because you're learning about you know like almost like a completely different perspective of you know on life, especially if you're speaking to someone from a different country. Like for me, that's how it's been because you know I grew up you know in the United States. I know about the United States, but after talking with Spanish speakers from you know Spanish speaking countries, I'm learning more about you know the way that they live in their country, learning more about their country. So like for me, it's amazing to see other walks of life, and then yeah, I know I love having conversations with Spanish speakers. Like, that's been the highlight. Like every single conversation I've had for the most part, like I haven't had like really any bad conversations, really any bad experiences like that. Like every single one, it's like I'm always learning something new. You know, either you know be able to you know make a new friend or something like that. So I would say that's definitely been a highlight is having conversations. It's always it's an amazing experience being able to communicate in another language. Francis, repites por favor. Oh, I was just saying, like, what do you like? What specifically about speaking Spanish is hard for you, if you know? Yeah, so yeah, just like that. Yeah, what specifically is hard about it? What do you find hard about speaking Spanish? Because there could be, you know, different aspects specifically that are causing you some troubles. Explícame eso. Y también suscríbete a mi canal también. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Also, share my videos with your friends. Share my videos on your social media, if you have Insta or if you have Twitter or something like that as well. That helps out with my channel a lot. Trying to grow some more. You know, want some more people to you know watch my videos. Hopefully, they can help more people. So that's kind of my big desire. Oh, hopefully, I would like to be like full time as well. So that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to. To like be full time with YouTube someday. So trying to think about how that como tratando de planear mi vida así, como siendo un YouTuber como por tiempo completo. Pero vamos a ver. Also, Also, si quieres ayudarme, si quieres ayudar a este canal con mi contenido, con todo lo que yo creo para ustedes, if you would like to support my channel as well, I think, yeah, I can't comment in this platform. But if you would like to support my channel, you can also donate as well to my Buy Me a Coffee page. Y el enlace está abajo en la caja de descripción. So if you're on my really on any of my videos, you can like go into the description box of my videos, and then like under support my content, you'll see my Buy Me a Coffee page, and then you can donate. You can donar dinero ahí if you would like to support. Y eso me ayuda muchísimo. That helps me out a lot. Ok, Francis Hall, pasado. Ok, pero ¿qué exactamente sobre pasado que te complica? Is it preterito? Pretérito? Is it pretérito or is it the imperfecto? Or is it both? But yeah, the past is kind of difficult. Like with that, for me, it was very challenging. You just have to practice it a lot. Practice it, and also like reading helps out a lot. Let's see. For example, let me get out my book here that I haven't finished yet. Oh, yeah. Ese libro todavía no he terminado. No he terminado aún. Yo empecé a leer ese libro en marzo de este año. Entonces, tanto tiempo sin terminar un libro así. But like reading is very good for learning about learning about how to talk in the past, and because like it's kind of difficult if you're watching something. That's why I like to read a lot, because if you're listening to something, it's kind of difficult to really kind of focus on grammar and sentence structure a lot, but if you're reading, it's a lot easier. Por ejemplo, déjame buscar una. Okay, here's one. Vive ahí permanentemente. Es una colega que trabaja como intérprete fija para las Naciones Unidas. So yeah, I love to read. I love to read to understand more of sentence structure. But I know it's challenging, but like I would say that's definitely something that will help you out a lot. Do a lot of reading, because people are always telling stories like in books and stuff like that usually. So reading, even if it's like articles, news articles too. I would suggest, reading a lot. That'll help you a lot. Because the thing is, it's hard to do if you're just looking at grammar books and things like that. Yeah, fue and tuve. Yeah, and that's why I say like consuming content like that, like reading and stuff like that, really helps you, because you're going to see it in context, and that's what what really helps me is really taking. It's not even like necessarily just like the grammar book. That's going to help a little bit just to have kind of like a solid understanding. But at the same time, since like in English is not the same thing, if you're a native English speaker, like your brain's not going to connect. It's not going to connect that grammar rule, like the talking in the past in Spanish to English, because like it doesn't exist like that. So that's why you just have to kind of learn through consuming content, learn through reading. And then once you're learning it through reading, you kind of it's almost like imitation. That's what I do. You take what someone else has already written, you take what someone else has already said, and then you just kind of use it. And kind of over time too. It's not like something that happens overnight. It's with time you'll start to see tuve over and over again, and then it'll start to make more sense. So I would say that as well. So it's not an overnight thing when it comes to conjugation, and like in really any kind of grammar rule or sentence structure, because even when you're looking in your in your grammar book, right, that's only like a few examples out of many different examples that you can see that same word in, right? So that's what I would say as well. Like, yeah, don't be stressed out. Like, I know it's a lot, but yeah, it's more about like a time thing, being patient. And you'll learn over time how to use it, from hearing it over and over again, with Spanish speakers, seeing how they use it. That's helped me out a lot, basically for any kind of vocabulary. So that's what I would say. Déjame ver. Okay. Entonces, cuando éramos estudiantes, I was reading like another line in my book here. Like, let's say that you see that a whole bunch of different times. Entonces, cuando éramos estudiantes, And then for me, for example, I see this sentence, that sentence right there over and over again. I'm like, okay, then I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that too. And that's basically kind of how I've learned to help me with speaking in the past. Okay, I know that. Okay, I can say eramos with cuando. Okay, I lost my spot there. Oh, sorry. Entonces, cuando éramos estudiantes, esto es en Madrid, y hace ya 15 años, nos acostamos 2 veces aisladas. Oh, that's about sex. Quizá fueron 3 o puede que 4, no más. Seguramente ninguno de los dos nos acordamos bien de esas veces. Será muchas veces el conocimiento. But yeah, it's like that. You see things over and over again, then you start to use that as well, like the same type of sentence structure. You just use that for your own, and it'll make sense over time, for the most part. So, language learning lover, do you plan to do any language challenges next year? Yeah, I do, but I have to make them because I don't really know that many language learning challenges. Like this year, right? Oh, not this year. This month, I was supposed to be doing the 30-day record yourself challenge, and I kind of quit that already. Like I did probably like 5 days of it. Then I got kind of bored, and then my friend, on Insta, she's doing her own little language learning challenge. So I've been doing that instead. But I get really bored doing that 30-day record yourself challenge. So I know I'm gonna like make my own challenge, some type of a speaking challenge. I just get bored of doing that one because I've done it like 3 times already, and I'm just kind of bored of that one. So I want to do something different, that I find a little bit more interesting and more fun. Francis, difícil todos, fue, tuve, éramos, hacía mucho frío. Like that one too. Like we talk in the past, como sobre la temperatura, sobre el clima, tienes que decir hacía muy calor. Cuando estabas hablando de pasado, sobre la temperatura, hacía mucho calor, hacía mucho frío dentro de mi casa durante los inviernos, durante mi infancia. Así. So like that's very difficult too. Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Sara, trying to comprehend what is being said and getting stuck with conjugation. Sí, claro, sí, eso es la vida. Eso es lo que te digo. Eso es la vida. Like all these things that you're saying right now, that all you're saying, like, your struggles and things like that, it's super normal. Like there's nothing like not normal about it. There's nothing like more normal than that, like getting stuck and not being able to comprehend everything. And yeah, that's something that you have to like realize and accept is that, it's difficult. It's difficult, and you get stuck with conjugation. You'll get stuck on pronunciation. It's a process. It's a process of learning. But you can improve. That's the best part about it. You can always improve. Coming said again, stuck with conjugation, and it doesn't help that there's a lot of conjugation either. A lot of conjugate within the Spanish language. I mean, the good thing is not depending on who you're talking to, they don't use every single conjugation. That's a good thing. Or even like in writing, you may not see every single type of verb conjugation. That's one thing like to realize as well. I think that kind of overwhelms. Like even like for me when I first started, I'm like, oh, I have to learn all this, and it's like, nah, not necessarily. Like you can get like you can understand quite a bit with just like a few verb conjugations, because not every all the whatever there are 15 different verb conjugations in the Spanish language are used just like in one sentence, or not used in one sentence, used in one conversation, if that makes sense. I just forget how many there are. There's there's a lot. Like in my verb book, like all these verb conjugations, like, oh yeah, that's quite it's quite overwhelming. But kind of like once you get the hang of it, like some of the main verb conjugations, then yeah, it becomes a lot easier, and especially like when you start to use them as well. Because like one thing like you're saying right now, Sara, is I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Like trying to comprehend it is one thing. Trying to comprehend verb conjugation is one thing, and then it's another thing to actually use them in a sentence. So that's kind of when I say about I talk a lot about like different ways that you can, learn the language. Like it's one thing to be able to comprehend, or I'll say like different skills that you can have when you're learning a language. It's one thing to be able to read. It's one thing when you're able to write in Spanish, but then speaking, and then also listening comprehension. Like these are all different skills that you have to learn. That's what makes it really difficult, because they don't always overlap. They connect and they kind of overlap, but they don't necessarily translate to each skill. Like just because you can write very well doesn't mean you can speak very well. If you're only writing and you're only reading, that doesn't mean you just automatically can understand everything 100%, and it doesn't mean that you can speak just like fluently, perfectly. You have to practice speaking a lot. You have to practice speaking, just like a baby does. Like a baby at first doesn't speak at all. Then eventually there's maybe mama, dada, and then after that there's a few more words that they learn, and then just like over time they learn more words. They make more sentences, and then they just nonstop talk. They start saying a whole bunch of words, and it's kind of how it is with Spanish as well. It's just like little by little every single day, little by little every single month, little by little year after year. So that's something that I've learned the hard way. I used to stress myself so much about trying to learn every single thing, master this, master that, know so much vocabulary. I need to know all these. I need to know all these phrases. I gotta do all this, But no, it's like realistically, it's like, yeah, stuff doesn't happen in a day. Learning vocabulary, same thing. When I'm learning new vocabulary, it's one thing to know the definition of a word. Oh, there we go, in front of the camera. It's one thing to know the definition of a word. It's another thing to be able to use that vocab word in a sentence when you are speaking. Then it's another thing to be able to hear that word, the same word, in a conversation. So like there's so many different aspects of language, and that's why I like to to talk a lot. In general, I like to talk a lot about all these different aspects of the language, because there's a lot. There's a lot to think about, to process. When you're learning a language, it's extremely complex. So that's why I try to make it very concise and try to give as many tips as possible, just from my own personal experience, as much as possible. Because it's a challenge, but you've already done it once. If you can comprehend me right now in English, that means you probably have already learned English. So if you learn English, you can definitely learn Spanish. So yeah, don't worry about it. I'm sure you'll be just fine. Ok, Francis, practico mucho cada día. Sí, eso es lo que yo quiero oír. And like the same thing with French. I would say with French right now, like I don't know that much vocabulary. I can't really make that many sentences at all. Like the most of the sentences I know for French are ones that I've learned on Duolingo, and a few that I've heard from like some YouTube videos and things like that. So sí, definitivamente, Francis. Yeah, keep going, never stop. So like with French, it's like the same thing. Is like my vocabulary is super low, which I'm really happy I started to learn a new language so I can experience this process again of what it feels like to not know anything. And yeah, it's very difficult. Because to be able to just to make some simple sentences, you have to have some knowledge of some sentence structure. You have to have some vocabulary. Then you have to know some verb conjugations and things like that, and some phrases, or something on the lines of that. So yeah, no, speaking is a beast. Speaking is a beast. It is for me, it's an ongoing process. Like since I become fluent in everything, I have never stopped learning about how to be a better communicator at all. I've never stopped. Every single day I'm trying to either increase my pronunciation, keep doing this, increase my pronunciation, better my accent, like my Dominican accent or my Spanish accent, learn more about that, or I'm trying to better my rhythm, or I'm trying to speak with less pauses. I'm trying to think more espontaneamente, more spontaneously. So yeah, like it never really stops. So I would say like Make sure that you don't get to like the pro perfectionist thing where you think that okay, I'm gonna speak perfectly one day. It's just like the perfect thing like really doesn't exist, but you definitely will get better. I can say that you will improve. You always improve. You can always improve your speaking abilities. Sana, thanks. Your tips are definitely appreciated. Oh, good. That's good to hear. I hope they are. If my tips aren't helpful, let me know, and then I'll try to make some better tips. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure that that you guys feel more confident. You feel more confident. Que ustedes tienen más confianza en tú mismos, definitivamente, para que nada o nadie se pueda detenerles. Low got it. Practice makes perfect. Have to stay with it and deep dive. Yeah. Language learning is an ongoing process. It never stops. So yeah, it never stops. There's so much to learn. Which is not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing. But yeah, it's just that's why it's called language learning. That's why it's called language learning. Pero déjame saber también, déjame saber en los comentarios. Let me know in the comments here, what are your goals for next year? Actually, no, first, let's start with what were your goals, your language learning goals for this year? And then after that, we'll go to next year. If they're the same, let me know that as well. Muchas gracias. Ayudas mucho, gracias a ti. Y a ti, muchas gracias por preguntando todas esas preguntas excelentes. Muchas gracias por las preguntas. Thank you for the questions as well. One of my goals was to be able to translate, or this year was be able to translate in between English and Spanish, and I didn't realize how hard that skill actually is. That skill is very hard. It's not like it's not really a natural skill, and again, it's not the same as speaking Spanish, but translating in between English and Spanish is very difficult. Translating writtenly, and then also interpreting. So spoken, interpreting in between two different languages. I'll try to say it out loud. When you're speaking is very challenging too. So like if someone says something in English and I translate, and then I interpret that into Spanish. Yeah, I thought that was gonna be easy, and it's not. It's not easy at all. But that was one of my goals. But very different skill than just like speaking Spanish. Interpreting is, and so it's translating. Like interpreting, like if I interpret like what Sara just said, like, oh, muchas gracias. Los consejos son apreciados, apreciados, definitivamente. Lo entiendo. La práctica hacia maestro. Tiene que estar con ello y clavar muy profundo. I laugh because it doesn't translate like perfectly to Spanish. Like in Spanish, I wouldn't say that that practice makes perfect. Like translate that word for word. I wouldn't say la práctica hace perfección. I wouldn't say that. I would say something more like la práctica hace al maestro. La práctica hace al maestro. And the same thing with like have to stay with it. Stay with it. Oh, mi micrófono. Lo siento. Have to stay with it. I have no idea how you would say that in Spanish. How to interpret that into Spanish. But like word for word, like it wouldn't make any sense really. It would be like tienes que quedar con ello. But yeah, I don't know if it has like the same type of meaning. Okay, quédate ahí, no te muevas. Okay, ahí estamos. No, está moviendo. No te muevas. Okay, ahí. And deep dive. I don't know how to say that in Spanish either. I don't know if it would make sense in Spanish either. Deep dive. I would say clavar muy profundo, muy profundamente. Okay, Francis, mi meta por next year, el próximo año, es aprender números muy altos. Y el pasado en español. Okay, me encanta tus metas. I love your goals here. And when you say high numbers, what specifically are we talking about? The hundreds, or are we talking about the thousands, or both? But yes, I would say that those are very helpful if you are trying to. Lo siento. Así, no te muevas. Okay. If you're trying to learn those, especially when it comes to like traveling and things like that, very helpful. Because like in the Dominican Republic, for example, they got like bills up to I think 2,000, 1,000. They definitely have the 1,000. I think it's up to like 2,000 they have. So like you can be paying 500, 600, 1,000 a lot, like with those types of bills. So that's why numbers are very important. Like maybe like you'll never. Like, I used to never think that numbers were important until I started to travel a lot. I'm like, oh my goodness, like these numbers are very high, and it's like, you're gonna be hearing like, sí, como es, como cuánto te debo, okay, me debes, por esa camiseta y este pantalón y esos zapatos, todo cuesta 489. So like you hear like so many big numbers, just like, wait, what did this person just say? So numbers are very important. Mil y millones. Sara, I don't think I know like millions like that. I know mil, I know thousands. I don't know if I know really millones. Yeah, I don't really. I've never really practiced with those numbers before. Sara, my goal for next year is to release the fear and embrace the challenge. Me gusta eso. Muy atrevida. O atrevido. Ha habido los. That is a good challenge. One of my challenges for Spanish and French, is to be able to have a conversation with myself in French and Spanish. It's hard. Yeah, it is hard. So I want to be having a conversation in Spanish and French, with myself. Like kind of like how I have a conversation with myself in Spanish. I want to be able to do that like in French as well. So I need to be able to, definitely increase my French vocabulary and French phrases, because that's something that I really want to do. I want to be like, hola, like hola, ¿cómo estás? Bonjour, je suis très bien, y vous, ¿cómo vas-tu? Bueno, estoy tranquilo, ya tú sabes, como todo está bien para acá, y ¿dónde vives? Or algo así. I want to have a conversation like that, just like super weird. But I don't know. I think that I like to do. I like imitating and practicing like that, like I'm having a conversation with myself. But that would be awesome to do that in French and Spanish. It would be like a really good exercise, and I wouldn't be using my native language, so I'll be doing that with my new languages. And I think that would be like an amazing achievement to be able to speak like that, and two new languages, just having a conversation. I also want to be able to have a conversation with my friends too. So I have a conversation with my friend where they are speaking, let's say, French, and I'm speaking Spanish, or I'm speaking Spanish and they're speaking French. So that's something that I want to be able to do as well. Francis, it's hard. I forgot. Okay, you forgot the numbers. I would love to do something like that though, because thankfully I have some friends, who are Haitian, so they speak a little. So they speak a little Spanish. They speak French fluently. They speak French, and they speak French Creole fluently as well. So that's kind of like a big motivator for me as well when it comes to French. I have some, I have some Haitian friends. I don't know anybody who speaks French friend wise. Well, no, like they know like maybe some like high school French, but they don't remember much. But yeah, I love to do that. Comment? Ah, à donner bas. À donner tout bas. Ah, je vais à mon maison en retour mon nom. Ah, está todo, ok, oh, bueno, como que, está bien. ¿Y qué vas a hacer cuando llegues a tu casa, a tu casita? ¿Qué vas a hacer? Y luego como que, bueno, je lis, I don't know any French. Je lis un livre y, y regarder un video. I don't know. Something like that. Or cuisiner. But yeah, that's something that I really want to do. I want to be able to definitely get my French up a lot more so I can be able to have conversations in French and Spanish and not English. So that'd be kind of cool. And I definitely have to increase my French pronunciation because it is, yeah, not the best. And then also my goal is to be able to how to balance because this is my first time learning two languages at the same time, and it's been a big challenge trying to figure out how to balance both of them. So trying to figure out how to trying to figure out how to you know how much time I should be dedicating to one of them versus the other. That's kind of difficult because I'm really used to learning Spanish, but then learning French takes well, it should take up more time than it is. Just because like trying to like with Spanish is like really easy for me to like to learn, and well, not easy to learn, but a little bit easier to to learn and to study because I can just have conversations and things like that. And I don't necessarily have to like learn vocabulary, which I think is a little bit more difficult. Hey Julian, hey Julian Monaco, Monaco. Que gusta verte otra vez. Okay, I know that you left, so that's good. Good that you came back. But like with French, it's like okay, it takes a lot more time for me to actually try to gain more vocabulary within French versus in Spanish. In Spanish a little bit a little bit easier for me because I know that pronunciation and I'm more familiar with it and things like that. With the French is it takes more energy, it takes more time for me. It takes a lot more focus too. It takes a lot more focus for me to really increase my vocabulary with French. So that's why it's like trying to find that balance of time, trying to learn both at the same time has been quite the challenge. Because when you're at the beginning, I know I really understand now. When you're learning the language from scratch, or you just coming back to a new language, the beginning part is very difficult. Just trying to get enough vocabulary to really start to kind of comprehend and start to understand what's going on, hearing people picking words out and developing sentences, constructing sentences. Yeah, that can be quite the challenge. I know a few numbers in French. I know a few numbers in French. I know a few days in French. Corey Petty, I'm learning how important slang words and phrases are. My friend from Mexico always used slang to help me break out of strict textbook speech and comprehension. Have you learned much slang? Um, I have, and I would say I have. I haven't. I want to say I've learned a lot. But I have learned some slang. I have learned some slang. I love Mexican slang. Como que pedo. Que pedo, güey. No mames, güey. No manches, güey. No manches. ¿Por qué hiciste eso? I have a few Mexican friends now, so I've been trying to learn more about the I'm learning some more Mexican slang from my friends now because they be doing that all the time. Oh, que chingón, güey. Que pedo, güey. Pedo. Yeah, pedo is used a lot. Pedo is used so much. Peda, pedo, borrachera, una borrachera. But yeah, I would say yeah. I can't like I don't know. I haven't learned a lot of slang. I learned some, and I would say I haven't learned a lot of slang just because like the way that I learn is very I would say sporadic. Like I don't focus just on like one country just like for a year. I've never focused on one country's slang for 1 year before. So that's why I would say for me, I haven't learned like a lot because I haven't just like dedicated like a whole year or 2 years just to learning just slang from one country. I've never done that before, but I know that would help me a lot if I get more focused. But I'm not really a focused language learner. I'm a little bit more disorganized when it comes to like for me. I just like try to learn everything, which is I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, yes. So what's in French, what we got? So we got so uno is like it's like was it un or un, something like that. And then dos is do. And then we got tres, trois. And we got quatre, cuatro, cinq, cinco, seis, seis, siete. How did I forget already? Siete, ¿qué es siete? Siete is, no, siete, seis, siete, seis, cinq, seis. Siete. I forgot what siete is in French. But there's siete, then there's huit, ocho, and then there's neuf. Neuf is nueve, and then dix. And then dix, once, douze, tres, something like that. So it's actually kind of some of it's kind of similar to Spanish, thankfully. And the same thing with like with days in French. Days in French are they're fairly similar to Spanish as well. So you have lunes. Lunes is lundi. Then you have martes, which is marti. Then you have miércoles, which is mercadi. And then I think what is it? Jueves. Jueves is janvi. And then we have vendardi, algo así. Vendardi is viernes, sábado is samedi, and then domingo is dimanche, something like that. So like French and Spanish, like thankfully, they're some of the words are very similar. Or por ejemplo, los días de la semana, and then in francés is los jours de la semaine or something like that. So it's like como muy parecido, muy parecido. Julian, Monaco. I'm also doing German because I feel like I stopped seeing the progress like that in the past with English. So I want to feel that motivation again with other languages. Oh, I see. I'm also lazy at the beginning of the new language. Yes, I'm very lazy too. That's why it's taking me so long with French. Like I don't learn new vocabulary words every single day in French because I need to like I'm too focused on Spanish. Usually I'm dancing. Usually I'm just like dancing salsa bachata. I was like, you know what? I should be studying French right now, but I'm just like I like this salsa too much, so I can't stop. I like German too. Ok, Sara. Ok, buenas noches. Muchas gracias por venir. Y te veo en lo próximo. Buenas noches. Hasta la próxima. Thanks for coming. T. Johnson, focus on Mexican slang is a beast. They have so much slang. Do you said the itas in Spanish? I love it. Cantadita. Un momentica. That's super weird. I was watching this one, what's it called? El Señor de los Cielos in Netflix. And this one Colombian woman who's in it, and one Colombian actress. And instead of saying un momento, un momentito, what she says is ico. So she says it con I-C-O. So she says un momentico, like that. So it's ICO, the way that she says it. I was like, what? I didn't know that you can do that, but I guess you can. Un momentico. No un momentito, pero un momentico. But yeah, I think they use a lot of itos, fritos, tortitos. Yeah, apparently tortitos is a thing. I learned from my ITALKI tutor, so that's another ito that I've learned recently. Or taquitos. So taquitos, a fun one to say too. Taquitos. And then tortitos. No, not that. Tortitos. Okay, it's not popping up. I have to look it up what it is. But yeah, a lot of itos, a lot of itos. I don't know. I'm gonna have to compare which country has the most slang. Julián Monaco. ¿Are you directos estudiando francés? ¿Qué es un directo exactamente? Papitos. Papitos. ¿Qué es un directo? Un directo es como en vivo, en video, ¿verdad? ¿O no? ¿Cómo así? Lo que estamos haciendo ahora mismo. Una, ok, sí. Bueno, no completamente en francés porque obviamente un canal de español. Entonces, lo que yo haría es como una mezcla de español y francés. Por ejemplo, estoy diciendo algo en español y luego francés. Por ejemplo, yo voy a decir como ahora y luego yo diría algo como no, porque no en francés es ahora o no, que como la casa, estoy en la casa, yo diría algo como je suis dans la maison, je suis dans la maison, o ¿qué es lo otro? ¿Qué âge avez-vous? ¿Qué âge avez-vous? ¿Cuántos años tiene usted? Entonces, eso es como el tipo de directo que yo haría en el futuro. Algo así como una mezcla de dos idiomas, como ya había hecho con español e inglés, así. Pero, pero yo tengo que como llegar a un nivel más avanzado para dar un directo así, ya tú sabes. Yo tengo que avanzar mi francés, pero ahora mismo está muy, es muy, ¿cómo diría? ¿Cómo diría? Eh, como yo hablo menos como un bebé, yo hablo menos como un bebé. Yo hablo como, no sé, con pocas palabras, yo no sé cómo conectar la frase, conectar la frase, nada de eso, o comunicarme en francés aún, porque no había aprendido mucho vocabulario. Me falta mucho vocabulario para empezar a construir muchas frases y sí, y frases. Eh, solo, solo conozco pocas frases coloquiales. Entonces, ya. There's a lot for me to learn when it comes to French, but I would definitely love to do it. But that's a good idea. Actually, I never thought about that. That's a really good motivation for me right there. Is being able to have like I'm doing right now, um, a mixture of Spanish and French, a mixture of Spanish and English. But whenever I get to a higher level of French, being able to speak only in French and Spanish, that would be perfecto. That's how I would say. That's how I know when I made it. I know that I make it. I make it with French when I'm able to have a live stream in just French and Spanish, and that's it. That's how I know. Perdóname. Also, let me know what resources are you using right now. What resources are you using to learn Spanish? I use books. YouTube videos, Netflix, Spotify. I listen to a lot of music. I listen to music every single day. I listen to bachata, salsa, merengue, banda, un poco de música de México, uh, corridos, banda, cumbia, tango, como la música de España. Entonces, un poco de todo. Me encanta la música para aprender español. Me había ayudado tanto con la gramática, con la pronunciación, con el conocimiento, para aumentar mi conocimiento de la cultura latina, de la cultura hispana también. Me encanta la música. Y aparte de eso, apart from like that, apart from music, YouTube videos, flashcards. I've been using my flashcards too much, not much for Spanish. I don't use my flashcards that much for Spanish anymore. For French, yes, because it helps me a lot. But with Spanish, like with new vocabulary, I I don't learn too much with flashcards. It kind of depends, but it kind of bores me. So con tarjetas, I use como ahora mismo, como eso es peor. So that is peor in French. So this, como en francés, en ese lado de ese lado de esa tarjeta, yo tengo la palabra escrito o escrita en francés. Y al otro lado, yo tengo la palabra en español, peor, así. Entonces, eso es las tarjetas, the flashcards, sticky notes. I need to be using more. I don't have that many on my wall right now for French. With Spanish, I don't use sticky notes because I kind of know mostly what everything is called in Spanish in my home. Apart from that, what else I use? I use ITALKI. Twitter actually helps a lot. So I read a lot, news articles, different websites like SpanishDick.com. I use online dictionary that helps out a lot. Physical dictionary. What else do I use? Un montón de cositas. I use native Spanish speakers because I have conversations with them, so that helps a lot for learning Spanish. That's a resource I would say too. YouTube. What else I say? Twitter. I like Twitter because like with Twitter, I do have some converse. Like there's some Spanish speakers on there that I've had some discussions with, or I can read tweets that are in Spanish, so that helps out a lot. Yeah, really anything on my computer, man. Anything on my computer. Me ayuda muchísimo. Jamie King, good to see you. Francis, música, iTalki, YouTube, leo, TV en español. También como siempre he tenido mi teléfono en español. I've had my phone in Spanish for a minute, like for a while. Yeah, I think I had my phone in Spanish for like over a year. So that has helped a decent amount. I thought about doing it in French. And I'm like, if I do it in French right now, I'm not gonna be able to get anywhere. Like I'm gonna be lost. Like I won't be able to remember how to get back to the settings and change it back to Spanish. Jamie King, I've been mainly using books to learn. That's great. But Duolingo and Closemaster to review. Okay, yeah, I've been on the Closemaster website before. I like that. I also like one website that I love a lot is Fluent U. Fluent U is really good. Even Spanish Dick is really good too. Spanish Dick is really good because they have a lot of free content on there on Spanish Dick. So you have the translator. There's a verb conjugator on there. There's it helps you with pronunciation. There's also like little grammar lessons on Spanish Dick too that are free. I think there are some paid things on there, but there's a decent amount of free material on Spanish Dict. Closemaster. What else? I love Fluent U. Fluent U they have a lot of articles, just articles about learning Spanish, ways to learn Spanish, resources, and then also just kind of some articles, really good articles about like specific grammar rules too. But other than that, Fluent U is, I think, yeah, you pay like this, like some paid service that you can buy too. I forgot what exactly it's for. I guess like they have like a course that you can pay for, but I always use it for the articles because Fluent U's articles, like they're really, really good. Oh yeah, Reddit. Oh, how did I forget about Reddit? Reddit has been absolutely amazing. And then of course Hello Talk. That's how I started having conversations mostly in Spanish. Like really like consistently using Hello Talk, which is a language change application. If you see it, wait. Yeah, Hello Talk. I used to love using Hello Talk. Now I don't really use it that much because it's just that I'm always having conversations with people, like either with my friends or in person. So and because like I kind of have like less time, so I don't want to waste anybody's time when it comes to like having like an exchange. Because it does take some time out of your hands if you're trying to have an exchange with someone, especially when it's someone new. Trying to start like a new relationship and things like that. But yeah, I love using Hello Talk. There's so many, like if you've never spoke with a Spanish speaker before, then Hello Talk or even Tandem is a really good place to start. There's literally Spanish speakers from every Spanish speaking country that you can think of, who you can have conversations with. And since this is a language exchange application, like people are there actually, really they're trying to learn and have conversations and things like that. You can send voice recordings to this person. And it's not like it's super formal or anything. Like you can just like send a message to like whoever's on here. I'm trying to see if I can show you something. So it's like it's kind of hard to see, but like here, like there's some people who are on the app, and like if I scroll that way, it's really hard to see like what country, but like they're from different countries. I can just click on like one person, you can see their whatever. It's hard to see, but like I can just click on one person and like see their profile. You can send them a message like right away. So it's not like you have to wait for like anything to like match you with the person. You can just start talking with anybody like right now if you wanted to. So using this has helped me a lot with like grammar, because you can also, it's almost like how do I put this? I don't say like an Instagram, almost like an Instagram or a Twitter in a way, because you can make posts. So like right now on my profile, I can make a post. Let me go to it real quick so I can explain it a little bit better. And then you can see other people's posts too. A post is just like, like someone commenting or something like that. And then you can comment on what somebody posts. You can like it as well. You can translate it. So that is that is really good as well. Let me see here. I can't find my posts. Oh, there they are. So like I could post something right now, and then like a question, like many times. I'm trying to find a question I've made. Como se? Okay, so like actually, this is like a few weeks or like a few months ago, I asked on Hello Talk. I just posted something on my profile. I said, "Como se dice I am vacuuming or I am sweeping in Espanol?" Because I didn't know how to say it, and then I got a few responses. I got in the comment section here. Someone sent a voice recording of how to say it. Estoy esperando, o estoy barriendo. Estoy pasando la aspiradora. Estoy barriendo. So that's why like it's super helpful for like learning grammar, sentence structure, Hello Talkers, and you can just speak with Spanish speakers. And the same thing with Reddit. Reddit helps me out a lot because you can find a lot of questions that you have, where people are giving a lot of answers, like what's the difference between ser and estar. And there's like a lot of other people who are on there just giving answers. Some of them may be professionals. I don't know. So maybe probably some of them aren't, or some of them may be non-native speakers. Some of them are native speakers. But it's just like a lot of the comments that you see on Reddit are actually fairly useful. Some of them not so much. Depends on the post, but yeah. Eso es lo que yo diría sobre Reddit and Hello Talk. Jeremy King, one thing that bothers me is it's a bit difficult to target my learning to Latin America. Most products learning on Spain, which leads to some embarrassing vocabulary choices. That is super interesting. You know why? I have been struggling to find material for Spain because I started to learn more about Spain and develop that accent. It's hard for me to find content that is not from Spain. No, sorry. It's hard for me to find content that is from Spain. So I have like the opposite issue. And I don't really know why. But yeah, it was just a challenge trying to find like some decent content from Spain. Luckily, like the book that I have, it was like random. I didn't really choose. I didn't like look up the author before I bought it. But like the author of this book, Corazón de Blanco, by Javier Marías, like he's a Spanish author. So I got lucky with this one. I guess there's not like a lot of like Spain really slang that I see in this book, but I mean at least it's still written by a Spanish speaker at the very least. So. And Duolingo is absolutely amazing. I'm just going to say that right now. I love Duolingo. Even though I haven't been using it a lot for French. I was using Duolingo a lot like earlier this year, then I got kind of bored. But that is just me. But I definitely highly recommend it for everybody else. Like Duolingo helps you. I would say one thing that Duolingo is really good at is helping you remember words and phrases. Like I've never really remembered words and phrases the way that I do like the way that I do when I'm using Duolingo. I don't know what it is, but like the way that they present like the same sentences over to you, and I don't know, just like the structure of the lessons, it really makes you remember the words and and sentences. And that's why I really like Duolingo. So I think they did a really good job with that. They definitely help you remember And that's like one of the hardest things for me has always been is trying to remember vocabulary, trying to remember words, the word position, word sentence structure, and things like that. So I'll say it does a decent job with that. But it's also limited too. It's also limited. But I mean, there's only so many things that you can do with the app. Like, let's see. Do I still? Yeah, I still have it. Duolingo. And their Instagram is really funny. Like Duolingo's Instagram and Twitter is really funny too. But yeah, and with French and Duolingo, I am on. I'm only on Unit 2. I have not gotten that far. Because I kind of just stopped doing it. Now, mostly kind of like with French, I kind of just mostly been studying more using whatchamacallit, like native content for the most part. Because I think sometimes for me, like I get kind of uncomfortable with kind of how slow it is sometimes, and I kind of just to read instead of doing lessons. I'm not too much of a fan of doing lessons because it reminds me of school, and I did not like learning languages in school at all. Pero sí, si necesitas recursos, si interesa conseguir recursos, I have a Spanish dictionary, Spanish verb book, things like that, some other Spanish resources in the description box as well. If you need any, like some starter books, some few or two starter books, or no, three starter books, and then Spanish dictionary and things like that. And then also, if you're using ITALKI, I do have a link for a discount as well, discount for some lessons too, for ITALKI. If you have not used one of those already, because I don't think you can use them twice. But yeah, I have that down as well in the description. Jeremy, can Duolingo helps with starting and reviewing with some languages? Yeah, no, definitely does. Definitely helps with with review, and I like it because it's organized. So instead of having to try to search everything on my own, for example, I had to look up like individual grammar rules and stuff like that. It's nice that it's all just like one spot. You don't have to search around for it. I like Spanish with it, not so much for Japanese and Chinese. Oh, and why not? And also, I didn't know that you are learning those languages. How many languages are you learning? Jamming King. El Reino de El Rey de Jamming. How many languages are you learning right now? Dave Money. I found your videos about a week ago and just subscribed today. Keep learning, man. Thank you. Muchas gracias por suscribiendo a mi canal. Thanks for subscribing to my channel, for watching my videos. That's awesome. Good to see that you found my channel. And I will keep learning. And Dave, how many languages are you learning? Déjame saber. Francis, it works. Yes, it does. It really does work. I'm not gonna lie. Whoever the creators are, they did a good job. I don't really know of any other courses though. Like I know some people use Pims. Someone earlier in the chat said something about Pimsleur. I've seen advertisement for a Pimsleur. What's the other one that's like really popular? Is it Lingopie? Is that one? I can't remember. There's only so many besides like Rosetta Stone, Pimsleur. Think of the other one. Like the other like really really big one, big Spanish learning course. I can't remember right now. Day Money, I found your video. Oh wait, Day Money. I've been learning Spanish for a little over a year. Okay, excelente. Over a year, sweet. And what made you want to learn Spanish? Oh yeah, base slang. That's the other one. Okay, base slang. Base slang is good. Okay. Yeah, the thing for me, like I don't know too many. I don't know too many courses because I haven't used them because I learned like the basics of Spanish in school. So I never have taken any of these types of lessons. 100 and how many a month? ¿Cuánto? ¿Cuánto me cobra cada mes? $100, 149 al mes, en verdad. Pero es ilimitado, ok. Oh, también, oh, vas a tener un tutor, ok. Quiero que eso vale la pena entonces. Real world, unlimited one-on-one classes. Oh, I didn't know that it was classes. I thought it was just like a lesson or whatever. Real world, unlimited one-on-one classes for $149 a month. What else do they have? Let's see. Grammar list, 0 to conversational in a month. No way. All right, all right. I don't look too much about that. I'll look that up later. Jeremy King, I'm only learning 3. Oh, that's awesome. Spanish is my focus. Jeremy King, the Chinese course has no start for pronunciation, so opinion isn't explained either. Japanese is a little better, but not by much. Okay. Is that the same for? Well, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't know about like Duolingo. I haven't really gotten far with Spanish because yeah, I don't do uh I don't do Spanish. I don't do Spanish really with Duolingo. Okay, Jamming, tell me this. Tell me this. ¿Cómo distribuyes tu tiempo con tus idiomas? So how do you like distribute your time with all these languages that you're learning? Like, do you have a specific schedule? Because I need to know. Because I'm trying to learn 2 languages at the same time. So like, do you like have a specific day, specific time of day that you learn more than the other, or do you not have a schedule at all? You kind of just going with the flow. Déjame saber eso. I wanna know. Like, what are your what kind of tips do you have? Y voy a buscar más sobre baseline. Curriculum, free access to daily program, month to month, cancel anytime. That's kind of nice. Your first week is $1. Hmm. That sounds pretty legit. Unlimited online Spanish classes for the real world. I should make my own Spanish program. Oh yeah, what's the one by that polyglot? The one by that polyglot. What's his name? Oh my goodness, Steve Kaufman. He has his own language program too. I don't know how I forgot about that one. He always talks about it. Steve Kaufman. Um, that is not him. Polyglot. He's 77. I don't even know that. And he's Swedish. I didn't know that either. What is his language? Ling Q. Okay. I mean, if he's not a native English, oh wait, no, he's a native English. Never mind. Oh no. What's he? What was this? Oh, Swedish Canadian. Oh yeah. I don't think English was his native. Was English his native language? I don't know. Anyway, I want to go down a rabbit hole here. Link you. That's another one. Dave Money. My mother's from Panama. Oh, okay, cool. So I've always had a few Spanish words around me. Okay, I always wanted to learn. I used to see my mom speak with Puerto Ricans in our neighborhood. They always embrace us. Okay, that's cool. But you never really so like when you were growing up though, you were you like technically not, I guess, like bilingual then? Like you heard some words, but you weren't actually like speaking Spanish like with her or your family members at all? And I just met a Panamanian recently, actually. I don't really know how the accent sounds like though in Panama. Panama. And Chinese and Japanese sounds incredibly difficult. I don't really plan on ever I don't ever plan on tackling Eastern Asian languages. I think I'm gonna leave that for other people. Day money, nope, our prayers were in Spanish and maybe a few phrases, but that was it. Okay. Is it do you how do I put this? That's a question I wanted to ask. So is it easier for you? Has it always been easy for you to understand Spanish speakers then? Like to comprehend them then, or was it not like that either? Probably because most of her family was in DC while we were in Jersey. So oh, okay, she didn't speak it. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, she didn't speak it much. Okay, that's cool though. Y como todavía tiene mucha familia en Panamá, like, do you still have like a lot of family who live in Panama? I've seen some pictures of Panama, and it looks pretty. It looks beautiful from the some pictures that I've seen. Let me look it up again. Looks pretty beautiful. Jabby's on a pause for now. Jamming. Jabby's on a pause. Is on pause for now. I wanted to focus on Spanish for my wife and her family. Honduras. Ah, okay, cool. Honduras. And China just beginning. I spent about an hour learning Spanish and maybe 10 to 15 minutes for Chinese. Okay, cool. Dave, I spent a summer over there. It's really nice. It's like DR. Oh, really? It's like DR? Oh man, I would definitely love it then. If it's like DR. Okay, cool. And then jamming to get a little bit more detailed. Para saber más de los detalles de tu rutina. What would you say that you do? Let's see, speed of an hour learning Spanish. Well, what do you do within that hour when you're learning Spanish? And then 10 to 15 minutes in Chino, in Chinese. Are you reading? Are you watching a show? Or yeah, like what do you do? Japanese, jamming says Japanese was a ton of fun, and because I learned that first, Chinese was super easy for me to understand. Oh, okay, so a lot of things are similar in between the languages. Okay, I didn't know. I thought they were like completely separate. Okay, that's good to know. So I guess it's almost like like the romance languages then, huh? It's like for me, it's almost like French and Spanish. Because like if you know, I've heard like yeah, if Spanish, it's really easy to learn like Italian and French and things like that. Because yeah, it definitely there's a lot of similarities in between French and Spanish. A lot, thankfully. Just like the pronunciation with French is like extremely difficult, very difficult because it's not like a really phonetic language like Spanish. They cut a lot of like words or not words. They cut a lot of letters in French, and it's really annoying. Pronunciation is difficult. Yeah, like they like many times, yeah, even with verbs and stuff like that. Yeah, you just don't see like the last two letters for whatever like for whatever reason, or s's. They cut off a lot of s's, and it's like really difficult to pronounce. It's not like Spanish. With Spanish is it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to just kind of say the word how it is. Day money. How amazed were you when you first started putting simple sentences together? Fairly amazed. I mean, for me, yeah, but also I was kind of in school, I would say. So like it's not like I just started doing it. Like I started to do simple sentences, I would say like in high school. At that time, I didn't really care that much, I guess. And then college, kind of the same thing. I put simple sentences together. I wasn't really speaking much. I was doing mostly like a lot of writing. But I mean, like it was cool. But I would say it definitely had a lot bigger impact when I was learning Spanish on my own. Like after I graduated, when I started to put sentences together and things like that, and things started to come together more. I started to speak a lot better. It definitely had I would say, like a big impact on my life because I was communicating a lot better. So that's what I would say. No, I definitely love being where I'm at today in comparison to like 3 years ago. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Be able to kind of speak a lot clearer, speak with better sentence structure. It's a lot of fun, even today. Jeremy King, Chinese, Korean, Japanese are very related and use similar vocabulary. Oh, okay. I did not know that at all. So that's really good to know. Okay, Jeremy King. Thank you for that. Muchas gracias por eso. Por este conocimiento. Yeah, I would have never guessed. I would have never guessed. I mean, I guess like the lettering of Chinese, from what I remember, lettering of Chinese and Japanese, they look kind of similar, but I thought maybe like they were like completely different. Like I don't know, like a sun is a circle in Chinese, and in Japanese a sun is like a stick figure of a man. Like I don't know, completely different or whatever. German King, I will say when I learned Spanish, I worked through a couple of workbooks I bought. Okay, and focus on sentence building. I need to work on speaking more. Okay, cool. Hi, man. I tell you, I do not like workbooks. After school, after I graduated, I'm like, I'm never doing workbooks ever again. I don't know what it is. I don't like fill in the blank. I don't like fill in the blank anything. Like any kind of sentence, like, if it's like, okay, if you're like in this section of a grammar book and then it's like, create your own sentence using this grammar or using this particular verb. I don't like that. To me, it's super boring, incredibly boring. But yeah, sentence building is super important. Trato de hablar con mi esposa y leo a mi hijo cada día. Sí, no, eso es perfecto para ti, porque ya tienes una esposa que sea, okay, que es una hablante de español, entonces eso es perfecto para ti. You have like the perfect environment. That's awesome. I love that. Francis, how long did it take you to learn? I don't know if I'm even saying your name correctly, because like when I see that, I want to say like Frances or France. I don't know Frances. So excuse me for saying your name incorrectly. So for me, okay, so I took Spanish and I took Spanish. Let's see, in middle school and then also in high school. So that was about 4 years total. Third, 4 years total, and then I took 2 years in college, like two and a half, no, like a year and a half in college. So that was like 6 years of like formal classes of Spanish in school, and then for the past 3 years, I've been learning Spanish on my own. So like a total of 9 years, but not consistently because I had oh my goodness, how many years did I have in between high school and college? I had like a 6 year gap, so a long time. So that's why it's really hard. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really remember what I learned in high school, really. Unfortunately, I wish I did. I used to have like some workbooks and stuff that I had in high school, but I don't have. I think I threw them away. Unfortunately, I wish I kept them. But I do remember some of the songs that we learned. But yeah, let me see. From high school, I quit my sophomore year. I quit learning Spanish because it was too hard for me. Funny enough, quit learning Spanish in high school when I was 16. Then I started back up again when I was like 21 or something like that. So I had like a 5 year gap, 5 year gap of not learning Spanish. Then took like 3 semesters of Spanish in college, And yeah, that was just like messy. That was like cramming information into my head. I was kind of learning, but at the same time, like just everything was just all mixed up in my head. I had no idea what was going on. In the past 3 years, just been learning on my own. So for me, it's always like hard to like answer that question. I wish I could just say, "Oh yeah, I started 3 years ago on my own," but no, it's like kind of more of like a roller coaster. My learning path has been, and even like the first year after I was learning, after I graduated from college, I wasn't even like really studying Spanish like that. So really, it's been like the last 2 years I've been learning Spanish consistently. Because right after college, I was not. I listened to a podcast sometimes. I went to Mexico, and after that, I wasn't studying whatsoever. So after college, 2 years, 2 years consistently. 1 year not consistently whatsoever. But I would say for only like 2 years is like because I would say it's crazy how fast my speaking abilities have come. Because like I've posted some videos where I was speaking in college and it was quite embarrassing to say the least. But like since then, it has gotten so much better. Now I've had like hundreds of conversations in Spanish in person with native Spanish speakers, and like my pronunciation's gotten a lot better, my accent's gotten a lot better, just my overall speaking ability, communication has gotten so much better over just like the past 2 years. Because I said like in 20, like 2 years ago, even though I was studying consistently, I wasn't having conversations like that. I was never having conversations in person besides sometimes with one of my friends, but he was like he's like half Venezuelan, half Americano, como mitad venezolano y mitad americano. So he doesn't have an accent at all. He grew up, kind of speaking both languages, but so he had like a very neutral accent, or he still has a very neutral accent. So I spoke with him a few times, but like during like in 2020, I wasn't speaking like at all in person with like really any Spanish speaker. But then 2021, I started to speak a lot. Like I started to like for the first time really speaking in Spanish in person with native Spanish speakers. So it really hasn't been that long, but just the constant communication with Spanish speakers in person has helped out a crazy amount. Like I can't even explain how much like it has helped me to understand more about the language, increase my listening comprehension, and increase my speaking abilities a lot. Más foco, más enfocado, más dedicado y más motivado. Yo diría estas tres palabras en español. Palabritas, palabritas. I think foco en español es como una. I think that's like is that a light? Is that the light of a car? Foco. Oh, it's hmm. Déjame ver. I've never used focus for focus in Spanish. I never really heard that before. El foco. Oh, I guess so. Yeah, I never used foco before in Spanish. El foco, foco del carro. Déjame ver. El foco del carro. Foco del carro. Ajá. Yeah, then el foco también como eh, el foco también es como like the lights of your cars. También. That's what focals are too. Hey, me caricero. Oh, me care. That's like Spanish. Me care zero. ¿Qué es lo que? ¿Cómo tú estás? Muchas gracias por venir acá para practicar con nosotros. Muchas gracias. Un gusto para verte. Francis Hall, in school, you were having fun. I get it. No, 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 no. I wasn't having a lot of fun in school. I was in school, I was just studying to survive. So, yeah, it wasn't necessarily fun. I would say my college classes for Spanish, it was literally just trying to pass. It wasn't really about like really learning necessarily. I was just trying to cram as much information as possible in my head, and that's what I did. I crammed a lot of vocabulary. I didn't really learn really grammar. Really, I was just trying to memorize as much as possible. I was never speaking. I was never practicing speaking Spanish in college either. So yeah, no, I was surviving. High school Spanish. I remember high school Spanish was kind of fun. I was just goofing off. And then of course middle school Spanish was all right. Except for my second my sophomore year, freshman year, freshman year of high school. I don't know, at least for me, it was like really fun, off topic. But my sophomore year of Spanish was I did not like it at all because I had a new teacher. She was very strict. I did not like her way of teaching, and I just I couldn't get it. It was really difficult for me to like to learn the grammar and like the verb conjugations. So that's why I quit because it was way too difficult for me, and I ended up just like hating Spanish my sophomore year of high school. And I vowed that I wasn't going to learn again, and I didn't until I had to take a language in college. And then I was like, yeah, okay. Since I have like some base with like a base knowledge of Spanish, I'll take that instead of having to learn a completely new language from scratch. So that was like my thinking back in college. I thought I was going to get an easy A, and I never got an A. I did not get one A in my Spanish college classes. Not one. It was way too hard for that. Way too hard for me. Me care zero. Me care cero. Fue difícil para dominar la doble R en español. So me care zero says, was it hard to master the R sound in Spanish? I don't know if I say I mastered it, but I would say it wasn't that difficult. I mean, for me, the thing is, yeah, for me, I never focused on the double R like that. I know some Spanish learners do, or they get really stressed about it. I was never focused. I was never focused on the double R, so I kind of just naturally just started um to really learn it. Like I never studied how to do the double R. I never did that ever. That was never like on my mind. Like, okay, I need to master the double R. I need to focus on it. It was just something I just started doing kind of like randomly, honestly. But I would say before I was even learning Spanish, I already was already rolling my R's. So yeah, that's kind of like it's como si no afroamericano, ya tú sabes. Si no afroamericano así es lo que hacemos en los Estados Unidos. Siempre estamos haciendo como cosas como que y todo eso aquí, eso es lo que hacemos acá. Entonces, eso fue como por hábito, eso es lo que yo ya había hecho acá, viví en los Estados Unidos, eso fue normal para hacerlo, ¿me entiendes? Yeah, so like for me, like growing up, like we were like I was always kind of doing that the double R sound, not like Spanish, but like doing it like the Afro-Americano way, like doing it like the African American way. Like for whatever reason we do it, like some not everybody, like in the United States, but like doing like that double R sound for whatever reason, we kind of do that already. Like some of us do. But yeah, so like I kind of knew how to do it because I was like just doing it for fun, like that kind of stuff, like growing up. So I used to do it for fun. But then when it came to Spanish, like again, like I said, like I was never focused on it. But then I just started to imitate Spanish speakers, and then yeah, I just got it. So like now it's just I don't know. I never had any trouble with it like that. Amor, mi amor, mi amor, mi amor, frecuentemente, como a veces con una palabra así, palabra, es como un doble R, pero es muy corta, palabra, o frecuentemente, frecuentemente. So it's like some words when you in Spanish, you kind of use a double R, but it's like very, very short like that. it's not always super long. And I think that's what like really troubles like some like with some Spanish learners too with that type of pronunciation. It's not always just like a super long R like you would like hear in like a goofy movie or something like that. Dave, those R's come naturally for me since I had always heard them. Yeah, me too. Dave, I didn't even think of them as R's. They were just another sound. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, for me, I never like worried about it. Me care cereal. Is it possible to become fluent in a year? I would say yes. Pero, depende de tu definición de la fluencia. Porque cada quien en este mundo tiene su propia perspectiva de qué realmente significa la palabra fluente. Pero para mí, desde mi punto de vista, yo diría que sí, eso es la verdad. Alguien se puede ser muy fluente, pero para mí es para hablar con fluidez en un idioma, básicamente es para ser capaz de tener una conversación con una persona, para tener una conversación corta, como quizás 5 minutos o 10 minutos, así, tan simple y así. Eso es para mí, es hablando con fluidez. Y yo diré que sí, es súper, no es necesariamente fácil, pero definitivamente es posible. I think it's very possible to be fluent in the year. But like I was saying, I think it really depends on what your definition of fluent is, because everybody has their own definition of what fluency is. Speaking fluency, because there isn't like a standard definition. Like there really isn't. There's not like from what I know, there's not like a standard that like everybody agrees upon, like whether professional or non-professional. So it's kind of subjective, you know. But I think it's very possible, because really, if you think about it, like for me, I can say like having a conversation for like me, like if 5-10 minutes is really, I would say like it's fairly fluent. Even like I don't even say it's 10 minutes, I'll say like 5 minutes about like a certain topic is fairly fluent. That takes a decent amount of vocabulary. Really, to have a conversation in a language, you need vocabulary. You need to know a little bit about sentence structure. And that's really about it. It's all about the vocabulary. It's all about being able to connect, being able to know, some vocabulary, know the definition of them, know how to use them in context, and know how to connect sentences together. And that just takes time, and it takes some dedication. I mean, really, all you would have to do, if you really want to do it, like to become like conversational in a language, is just study sentence structure, and which I wouldn't even say really study sentence structure, but really just getting that vocabulary. That's like the hardest part. Getting vocabulary, remembering it, retaining it, and then also being able to reproduce it when you're speaking. That's like the hardest part. Is the retaining part. Like with me with French right now, like I don't have that much vocabulary. I don't know that many phrases, because I'm not learning. I'm not learning consistently every single day. I'm not learning one French word every single day. I'm not doing anything like that. But if I was, I'll be able to become fluent a lot faster, be able to have conversations a lot faster, because I'm learning a whole bunch of vocabulary every single week. I'm not doing that whatsoever. But everything is possible. It's really all just, spending the time to learn vocabulary. I would say that's really all it takes. If you would like, you don't have to, sound perfect or anything like that. You can sound really terrible, not terrible, but like, pronunciation wise, you don't have to sound perfect with your pronunciation or anything like that. It's just, being able to say simple phrases. Estoy bien, bueno, yo voy a practicar con mi amigo. Vamos a practicar sobre el fútbol, porque estamos mirando ahora mismo la Copa Mundial, y mi equipo favorito es bla, 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 así. Ok, Abdul. Ok, nos quedan 10 minutos. I would say we have about 10 minutes more. 10 minutes, is that how you say that correctly? I always forget English. I'm not even joking. 10 minutes more. No, we have 10 minutes left. We have 10 minutes left. No, nos quedan 10 minutos. Mejor en español. Nos quedan 10 minutos hasta el final de esta live stream. So I'll say about like at the 2 hour 2 hour and 40-minute mark, I gotta go. Me tengo que ir. Pero bueno. So if you have any questions, yeah, let me know. in the next 10 minutes here. And Abdul asks, where are you currently at your journey? Great question. I'm everywhere all at the same time. So right now, with Spanish, I would say like I'm having a lot of conversations in Spanish. Spanish has really become a part of my life. So, I think in Spanish, I speak in Spanish throughout the day with myself. I speak Spanish with myself. I do that as much as possible. I text my Spanish speaking friends. Thankfully, I've had the opportunity to meet Spanish speakers. So I have Spanish speakers or friends who are Spanish speakers from Mexico, Guatemala, la República Dominicana. Entonces estoy hablando con ellos. De Cuba también. So really right now I'm having a lot of interactions with Spanish speakers in person, a lot more in person than I've ever had before, just because I live in Texas. So I had the opportunity to be able to communicate with Spanish speakers as much as possible. I mean, I had a lot. So I've been doing that as much as I can, just wherever I am, whether I'm at a store, I'm on the street or whatever. Como yo trato de platicar con los hispanohablantes. I always try to communicate in Spanish. So that's part of it. When I'm at home, if I'm not speaking by myself or speak with myself in Spanish or thinking in Spanish by myself, I try to read. Like right now, I'm still trying to finish this book. I have to finish it. How many days I got left? 13 days or to finish it by the end of the year. So I like to read in Spanish. I try to consume as much as possible in Spanish. So watching TV shows and movies in Spanish. I haven't done that too much this year. But I try to do that as much as possible. YouTube videos in Spanish. My phone's in Spanish. I guess that's what I would say right now. I'm at with my Spanish learning journey right now. Just a lot of communication with Spanish speakers. So like a lot of immersion, a lot of immersion, immersing myself within Spanish culture, Latino culture. So yeah, that is I'd say where I'm at. Hopefully that answers your question. If it doesn't, déjame saber. Let me know if you want to learn. You want to know a little bit more. And for all those who haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure that you do that. Subscribe to my channel and share my channel with all your friends and your family, whoever's interested in learning languages. It doesn't have to be about Spanish, because a lot of these tips that I give or, share my experiences, the experiences that I share, these types of things, they can really translate to other languages too. So that's what I would say. Yeah, definitely share my content with your friends, share with as many people as possible. I definitely, trying to grow this channel some more. I want to grow this channel some more. Got some more videos coming out next week. So I'm excited for that. Make sure that you comment on my videos as well. Because that lets me know if you like it or not, or if you learned something, or if you just want to just say hello or whatever. You can do that on my videos. I'm fairly active on Instagram. My Instagram is Spanish Blueprints. And on Twitter, I try to be active. I can be more active. But on Twitter, I usually try to hop on there a few times a week, just kind of talk with people. And I like Twitter. I like the language learning community on Twitter. I would say is like very active, very helpful. Yeah, I like the Twitter community. Like tweeting is, I don't know. The language community on Twitter is interesting. I would say it's like a different kind of experience, but like people are on there are fairly active, very helpful. It's like the conversation is really fun. People are always, talking about their experiences, what they're studying and things like that. So I like being on Twitter for that reason. Not for news, not for news, just for language learning. Twitter, but yeah, Instagram. On Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, I'm mostly just goofing off. I love, I try to like on Instagram, I like to make stories of myself speaking Spanish. I do that a lot. I'm trying to do that more actually. Just kind of just having fun and posting videos of me speaking Spanish, or posting on my story, what I'm doing that day, for Spanish, whether I'm listening to music. I share some songs on there on my Insta story too. So I share some reels as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I do with Instagram. It's just a place for me just to have fun with Spanish. That's really all it is. And like to practice speaking, it's helped me out a lot, especially because it's out to the public. So it's like It's getting myself out there, kind of getting myself out of my shell, and then kind of getting over that awkward feeling of speaking Spanish like the people and things like that. So yeah, that's also a good method for you. I don't know if you have like a your own little private Instagram or whatever. You can just speak Spanish to it. Talk about what you're doing, almost like a mini vlog. That's kind of what it is. Like what I do on my Instagram. I just just talk about whatever I'm doing. Just explaining what's like narrating what I'm doing. It's like a little vlog, and it helps out a lot. Abdul, nice man. I'm learning the accent, utility, and stress on syllables. That's good. Really good for pronunciation. Absolutely. I'm first trying to be able to pronounce and read Spanish. Sometimes I forget to read properly in English because of Spanish. Oh yeah, me too, all the time. For example, por ejemplo, hace un día, hace 2 días, yo estaba hablando en voz alta en mi coche, en mi chepeta, y lo que me pasó fue yo dije, ¿qué dije? No, one time. Oh no, one vez. So like a few days ago, I was in my car, or last week, whatever it was, and I was driving, speaking in Spanish like I always do, speaking in Spanish to myself, and then I said one vez instead of saying una vez. So like I always kind of mix English and Spanish all the time. So it definitely happens. Even like right now, like because like I might be speaking English, but then I'm also thinking in Spanish. So then kind of like como así, como yo mezclo dos idiomas a la vez, or like I mix both languages at the same time, or sometimes I speak English a little bit with like kind of like a Spanish accent a little bit a veces. So it happens all the time. It's kind of like what your mind does. But it is really fun though, and it helps. It for me, like it lets me know that my brain is really starting to get accustomed to the Spanish language, because like when I want to say an English word, a Spanish word comes out. Or if I want to say an English word, or if I want to say a Spanish word, English comes out. It's just like what your brain kind of does is it's connecting both languages at the same time. It's pretty amazing. Or like this year, like since I've been like working a lot with my pronunciation in Spanish, like one of my coworkers told me that, oh, like you kind of sound like you're Latino or whatever. And I was like, really? I'm like, why? Like no one has ever told me that before, so I felt very proud. I was like, oh yes, I finally sound Latino. But when I speak English, not when I speak Spanish. So that was kind of funny, because like I focus so much, like you're saying right now, like I focus so much on pronunciation and focus so much on the alphabet and accents and things like that in Spanish, that like my English, when I speak English sometimes, like the Spanish comes out, because I'm thinking of how to say like these words in Spanish. So now I really understand how when Spanish speakers have trouble speaking English and pronouncing things in English, because they're coming from Spanish, so they have the Spanish pronunciation going on in their head. They have the Spanish alphabet going on in their head, but then now they have to think or how to pronounce things in English. So like you'll hear this English and Spanish kind of accent when they're speaking English. So now I really understand, especially like when I see, for example, like I see some English words, right? I'll see some English words, but then I'll read the English in Spanish. So like this is like, so I see this word, it says subscribe, but then I'll be like subscribe. That's what I do a lot with English words. It's absolutely hilarious. So now I understand their difficulties with English. I understand their pain. Language learning lover, what has helped you to start thinking in Spanish? Abdul, and then man, that's true pronunciation. Something so overlooked that can make you sound like a native for mastering vowels. Absolutely, that's all I focused on this year a lot. That's this year, because my neutral accent was terrible. So that's this year. I just focused a lot on the vowels and pronunciations. That's literally how you master the neutral accent and how you not sound like a gringo. That's all you have to do to get a neutral accent. It's very simple, and it makes me very angry why so many Spanish learners don't have a neutral accent. And that's why I when I talk to my friends and stuff like that, I try to help them with pronunciation because it's super simple. It doesn't take a whole bunch of like rules to know. It only takes just knowing how the letters of the alphabet sound and some accents to really sound to have like a neutral Spanish accent and not to sound like a gringo. It's really simple, but I don't know why a lot of us in the US have this struggle. I really don't get it. Well, I guess teaching or education, of course. Okay. So to help me thinking Spanish, well, it's just just starting. I would say like at first, when I first started thinking in Spanish, I couldn't do it for that long because it takes a lot of mental energy to do that. So at first, I was only thinking maybe for like like a few minutes out of the day. And then from a few minutes, it went to like an hour. From an hour to a few hours. From a few hours to all day. But that took some time. That took some time. I've been doing this for for 2 years now. So now I'm a lot more accustomed to it. Even right now, I still get tired of doing it sometimes. But that is what I would say. Just start where you're at, and I don't know like how comfortable you are with doing it right now, but you really just have to force yourself to do it, force yourself to do it, and do it consistently, do it every single day, do it for as long as you can. Take breaks when you need to, but that'll help you a lot. And like I said, you have to like remind yourself to do it, or you forget. It's really easy just to switch to English, especially because you're so used to thinking in English. If you're a native English speaker for your whole life, so that's helped me a lot. And then also, like I used to never think in Spanish when I was at work because it was just too hard. Like it's super hard. I had to focus. I had to be focus a lot in English. But then I stopped doing that. Then I started to force myself to think in Spanish. So I'm like, okay, estoy en mi computadora. Yo tengo que mandar un mensaje a mi compañera. Ok, yo voy a decir eso. Ok, luego, ¿qué más necesito hacer? Ok, yo voy a tener, yo voy a comer mi almuerzo a las 11 o a las 12. Ok, perfecto. Pero ahora, ¿qué necesito hacer? ¿Qué necesito hacer? Se me olvidó. Bueno, está bien. Yo voy a practicar con mi jefe para saber lo que necesito hacer ahora. So like that's something like I would do like at work. Now I'll say right now, I don't always think in Spanish when I'm at work because something it is kind of just very difficult. I understand it's very difficult to do that at work because you have to focus very hard, especially if you're like writing emails or whatever, sending emails, depending on what your job is. But yeah, just do it as much as possible all throughout the day. Yeah, even like try to like translate in your head what people are saying from English to Spanish. Yeah, but yeah, that's what I would do. You just have to do it. Imagine if you were a native Spanish speaker. Basically, that's what they're doing. They're thinking in Spanish. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. But I'll definitely make a video about thinking in Spanish later. That's something that's on my list. Francis, all right, it's gonna be like the last question. Then I gotta go. Francis, when would you use ley en una oración? Others have a problem con entre lo. Okay. Órale is one. Órale. That's like Mexican. Órale. So really, like lo is just like it's like a what do they call it? Like okay, let me see. Lay is an indirect object. So like when you use lay, usually you're talking about a person. When you're talking about with lo, it's not a person. It's very indirect. So como lo objetivo, déjame ver. Como lo bueno de la vida. Lo bueno de la vida es la relación con amigos. So lo bueno por lo general. So I would say, and like with like again like with ley, you're using that a lot with people. So ley perdono, like I pardon someone else. Le regalo. So you're talking about someone, but you're not talking about two. I'm not saying like te regalo un regalo. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like a he or she, a person. So le regalo. So like there's certain like you'll see there's certain verbs that you will use lay with. There's many different ones, and again, it's kind of the same thing I was talking about before. If you read a lot, you'll see a lot of those. So le regalo, le cuento una historia a mi compañera. Le is talking about like a specific person. Lo is not. Lo is always indirect. It's like a thing or an idea or something like that. And then also with low, you will actually see low a lot, used a lot with like within I would say like within like with phrases. Like I just said beforehand, por lo general. And that's just like in general. Por lo general, in general. I'm trying to think of other ones. Let's see, lo bueno, lo desgraciado, lo necesario, like things like that is just it's like very indirect. You're not talking about a person, but with lay, it's a lot more direct. You're actually talking about a person. Le hablo, le hablo. I think of some other ones. I say le regaló, le canto. I'm trying to think of some more ones. Llevale, contale, orale. So yeah, I would say like you'll definitely you'll see it used a lot. It'll become a lot easier when you see people use it. But it's kind of like it's kind of hard to like say like every single instance that you would have to use it, because like there's so many different ones. But hopefully that helps out a little bit. And then yeah, I mean also grammar book. Like grammar book is mostly just about like trying to get like the general sense, but like once you actually start to see it, when you actually really start to see it, when you're talking to people or hear it when you're talking to people, and then I think ley entiendo es otra cosita también. And then also when you start to read it a lot, it'll make a lot more sense. But yeah, definitely como con tiempo. Pero bueno, muchas gracias a todos ustedes. Thank you very much, everyone, coming to this live stream. It's been really fun. Thank you all for your support as well. Thank you for watching my videos. This has been an amazing year on YouTube and building this community here on my channel, talking about languages, sharing my experiences. And yeah, I'm really excited for the next year and the next years ahead. Los próximos años and YouTube and making more videos. Definitely let me know what type of videos that you are looking forward to. In the future, like let me know, in the videos and things like that in the comment section. So yeah, definitely excited. Muchas gracias a ustedes. Mil gracias a ustedes. Un abrazo fuerte para ustedes. Un abrazo fuerte. No un beso, no un beso, pero un brazo sí. Un brazo fuerte. Yeah, thank you all again for your support. Thank you for the motivation as well. Yeah, all your comments, like these types of live streams are really motivating for me to help me keep going. Because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to make videos. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of thought as well, and it takes just takes a lot of time. So yeah, so thank you again for all the support. Y nos vemos muy pronto. Adiós, hasta luego, y buenas noches. I'll see y'all very soon.